Uma pausa no seu podcast para falar sobre a beleza, essa força poderosa que nos move. No Grupo L'Oréal, nós criamos a beleza com sustentabilidade. Utilizamos em nossas embalagens 85% de plástico PET de origem reciclada. 65% dos ingredientes vieram de base biológica ou derivados de minerais abundantes. Grupo L'Oréal, nós criamos a beleza que move o mundo.
Interrompemos esse podcast para perguntar: quem você quer ser?
Designer, engenheira, pedagoga,
administrador.
Quer saber? O Senac EAD é nota máxima no MEC. Tem cursos de diversas áreas, com conteúdo elaborado por especialistas do mercado e professores mestres e doutores. Ainda tem o Senac Carreiras, conectando estudantes a vagas de emprego em todo o país. Saiba mais em ead.senac.br/graduação.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
I want people to believe in me, and I want people to believe in me when they taste my beer. That's what it's about.
You mean you laid underneath it and tried to
Put his tongue up the bung. I like to actually scoop up the yeast and look at it.
7 o'clock came real early that next morning.
Yeah, man. Thanks for dumbing that down for us. You did an awesome job. It's all about food and beer.
Punch me in the junk. Man, that thing was thick.
The point is just beat it like it's your dick.
I like to smell it afterwards.
Are you being sarcastic right now?
Yeah, bring your body armor.
I ran in my junk once on a ball valve in a kettle.
That's a true happy ending.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Session. I'm in a good mood today, Warren. I'm excited for today.
Why?
Well, I'm alive.
Yeah, what makes that usually isn't enough.
Both feet hit the floor when I woke up. And no, it usually isn't. But we have a really awesome brewer and brewery in on the show.
Yes,
tonight.
we do.
We have Jace Marti from August Schell Brewing in Minnesota.
I'm very excited.
You sound very excited.
I'm kind of a fanboy of this brewery.
I can tell you're excited because your voice stays the exact same pitch the entire way through the words.
The less it changes, the more excited I am.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
So when you're bored, you're like, yes!
Oh, this is so great.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
Jace, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on.
And you flew out here for this thing, and I don't know why.
One of my good friends lives out here, so I took a couple extra days and seeing the sites and visit a bunch of breweries.
What'd you hit?
I was at Rare Barrel, Fraction, Cellar Maker. What was the other? Fieldwork.
Fieldwork?
Yep.
Okay.
Went and visit Anchor. That was the first one.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah,
Oh,
Anchor was sweet. That was really cool.
Man, now, so your brewery, August Schell Brewing, is what's the second oldest
family-owned brewery.
Second oldest family-owned brewery.
Yep.
How long have you guys been brewing there?
1860.
1860. So for you to walk into Anchor Steam, who, and I think I was telling you at HomebrewCon, it was like, when we walk into Anchor Steam, it's kind of like, oh, wow, it's this history, right? You can see it on the walls. Like the concrete is worn out from the washing. Like, we think that, but... That predates Anchor by 100 years.
He goes in, look at these new kids on the block.
Yeah.
You rascals.
Yeah. Is it still kind of cool for you? Or
yeah, I mean, they
like
get that brew house, that copper, the full, 3-vessel copper brew house is absolutely gorgeous. We retired our copper kettle 10 years ago, so I mean they're still using them, so they definitely have that. But I mean, just seeing some of the things, they're super traditional. Those open fermenters are amazing.
They really are, dude.
Yeah,
and you know what's weird is they're extra clinical too. It's just here's a room, with fermenters, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if a modern day brewery was putting that in, it would be, reclaimed, like wood from fucking whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it would be kind of some kitschy thing, and I think Anchor's is like you could either be in some like biotech lab or a brewery or whatever. It's very weird with like the lime green walls and like the off-white walls inside, and they don't care. They're making beer.
And they've got the white jumpsuits.
Yeah.
That adds to the
those
whole
are
vibe.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to work in those every day, but
well, San Francisco doesn't get too hot.
That's true.
So
I wouldn't want to
isn't
wash
that
them
bad.
every day, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you think they wash them?
Maybe it's part of the magic of Anchor Steam.
Yeah, the cellar guys stay in the room.
That's right.
That
They live
work
there.
in.
Actually, yeah. That's the solution to the homeless problem. Bring everybody in and position. I don't know. Well, that's cool. You got to see Anchor. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Yeah, you're going to go back home and be like, "Dude, these guys, listen to these guys.
You won't believe what they do.
Whoa, the craft brewery. Okay, cool. Whatever.
No.
Anyway.
No, nothing but respect.
No.
You wouldn't believe how they lager out there.
Yeah. It is, I don't know, man. It's interesting going to these breweries because, as Americans, we don't have that much history when compared to the rest of the world, right? So we're kind of like in our own little bubble of what has happened in our timelines, right? And beer obviously is one of them. So it's cool to see these people that have been open longer than 20 years. I guess I think that's our historical benchmark of you're old, dude. 20 years, that's a long fucking time, man. Before we get too far afield, though, I do want to thank More Beer. Our title sponsor of this show, our good, handsome, good-looking friends, except that one dude. That one dude needs like a rhinoplasty or something.
Just one?
I'm not going to mention names, Warren, so don't,
No. I mean, Dave's nose is fine.
I'm not going to say it. I don't know. Go to morebeer.com to get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home. I'm going to be meeting with Olin here in a couple weeks about talking about some new stuff that they're coming out with, man, on the More Beer side. They're I don't know, man. They're just innovating left and right, and I got a fucking fly in my beer. Get out of here.
Drink it.
Think I should?
Yeah.
It's protein.
I don't think you can, knowing you.
What does that mean? I'd be afraid that it was like going to fly out.
Even if you got it down, it wouldn't stay there.
No, probably wouldn't. No. I wonder if you got it down and if you burped,
fly out.
If it would fly out, because that would creep me out and be kind of amazing at the same time if you were able to burp out a fruit fly that you swallowed.
Spider maybe,
but
crawling back up.
Sticking your dirty finger in your beer makes it worse than if you just left the fly in there.
My finger's pristine, dude. I actually, look, being in the studio for as long as we have and the fruit fly problem that we have here, I don't touch anything with this index finger.
Just that one?
Just this one.
It's only for removing flies?
It's only for removing flies, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I type with like 3 fingers in my, and then my right hand.
Then that is a good idea.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We do have a good show for you guys today. I'm very excited. Jace brought a bunch of beers out, including a new project you guys are working on, our Berliner Weisse.
Yeah. We've been something we've been doing for 5 years now. We just opened our new sour brewery this winter. So, yeah, pretty excited about that.
And you did a talk at HomebrewCon.
Yep.
About Berliner Weisse.
I did.
And that beer's... Man, those beers are good. Those beers are good. So I'm excited that we can get you this close to HomebrewCon. You came out here for it, and being in the studio always helps out. So
yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that. We're also going to do a little beer news tonight, and just to tease it, I'm sure everyone's heard the flying dog pulling out of the Brewers Association debacle.
There are some raging bitches out there.
There are some. Hey, that is not cool.
TM.
That's right. Have you read about this, Doc?
Yeah, just seen it too.
Okay, good. We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Exploit it.
We're going to exploit it and just talk about it and argue about it like the good old days. I feel like.
Good old days.
Yeah, I have a feeling that everyone here is going to have the same opinion, though. I don't know.
Or no opinion.
I disagree.
Hey, wait a minute. Nate Smith is slated to join us today, too.
Whoa.
Yeah. I told him we have a bona fide lager brewery coming in. He's like, I got to be there.
I guess I'll drive up.
I got to be there. So he'll be here a little bit. He's a little late, but, it's fine. The Silver Fox can be late, What are you going to do?
Yeah. It's hot out there.
He's also from Minnesota.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's coming.
Maybe that's why. Maybe Jace owes him money.
Oh.
Maybe that's why he's coming.
Got some debts to pay.
Yeah. You ever ran into a Nate Smith or a Nathan Smith out there?
Nope, I don't know. Nope.
Never seen him.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard of the
Long
dude.
blonde hair? Nope.
Yeah. Man.
Death Metal Nathan.
Death Metal Nathan, man. Just real quick, so before the shows kind of start, every once in a while I'll play like terrible rap music. I really like it. It's called trap.
Oh, I know. I'm here.
Yeah.
And it is terrible.
Okay. So I was reading this article from, let me see where, I think it was SF Weekly. Let me scroll to find it. Yeah, it's sfweekly.com, and it's entitled Trap House. It's about Chimay. It's about Trappist breweries. And I'm like, God damn, that's good marketing.
So it wasn't about rap music at all?
No, it's about fucking Trappists. Trappist monks in the monasteries and beers, and how Chimay is quote the finest beer to come out of Belgium, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it's really good.
Sure.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's made by monks. Not
Made
really.
by monks.
Not really.
Yeah.
That's the new frontier for craft beer.
Is trap?
Misleading article titles.
I just thought it was really great. I was like, wow, I feel like legitimized now. Like my two worlds are colliding, beer and trap.
Oh, so you're a part of the trap music world.
Yeah. Warren?
Oh, I mean, you don't seem like the normal
First of all,
person.
hold on, because you're about to get really racist right now.
I can feel it.
I can feel it.
What?
From the whitest guy in the room.
Yeah, the normal person. The normal trap beat. Come on, Warren, you're better than this.
Well, I mean, you're just really Greek. To be listening to that music.
Just because you don't say he's really white doesn't mean it's not racist still.
I'm just kidding, Warren.
And he's old, too.
Wow, I'm 39. I'm not old.
You're approaching.
I'm approaching old. I'm going on a cruise for my 40th birthday, Doc.
Oh, yeah? Disney cruise?
No.
That's what I asked the first time.
No, but I bought it from Costco, so I feel like I should be 60, because when you start buying travel packages from Costco, I feel like you're an old person.
Was it a bundle with a washing machine and a coffin?
It should have been.
And solar panels.
And solar panels.
I did have to buy 10 cruises, though.
Where are you going?
Oh, that's not bad.
Do you have 10 friends?
No, I don't have 10 friends. Where the fuck am I? Casa...
Cozumel.
No.
You're not going to Cozumel?
No. Casa Nuestra? No.
That's a
It's
winery.
not even a thing.
Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Good God.
So Mexico.
Yeah.
So Mexico.
Right, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Mexico.
Okay.
You'll like it.
Are you getting off the boat?
Yeah. It's like 2 days. So you get off the boat, and then you hang out for like 8 hours, and then you get back on the boat so they can leave and then open the casinos and then take more of your money, and then they come back and then let you off the boat, and then you leave, and then you go home.
Only 2 days?
Yeah.
You didn't win when we went on the Labruski cruise?
I think I was ahead. I don't know that. I think I was ahead.
No, we were all ahead, and then we pumped all of our money back into that vending machine.
That's what happened.
Oh, see, I didn't do that part. I cleaned house.
They got drunk out, so I don't remember.
I cleaned house at the poker table and then didn't put all that money into the vending machine.
Well, you didn't have clearly as much fun as Beverly and I did.
You sure didn't.
I watched you guys, and that was fun.
Remember when Natalie face planted onto the glass?
No.
Oh, we were drunk.
I do remember when they unplugged the machine.
They did.
Yeah, they did do that.
Hey, guys, you need to leave. Okay.
And
after the sixth time telling us you need to leave.
Yeah, I forget what fucking show we talked about it on, but I'm assuming it wasn't this one. And it was one of those machines where you put a quarter in, and it's like the rake, right? Or the
rake,
pusher or
rake
whatever.
all the pile of coins.
And it pushes them out, and so you kind of like time it just right to add your coin to make the other ones fall off the thing.
And they had like wads of, quote unquote, wads of 20s.
They had a wad with a 20 in it.
Well, no, it was a wad with a 20 wrapped around it, but everything inside were dollar bills.
False advertising.
Sounds like you at least won one of those wads.
Oh, we won several of those wads.
Yeah.
We probably spent 400 times more, but...
It was good.
Hey, at least you had fun.
That's true. And then I remember like distinctly putting money in, and the guy just came by and unplugged the thing. And it was like, my coin... Oh, shit. They didn't give a fuck,
you're
dude.
cut off.
There's Nate. Hey, guys. What's going on, dude? What's up? Not much, man. You have to share with... we can hear you just fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. You have to share with Doc. Maybe Doc can share with Tasty. Maybe all three you can share.
I like sharing with Doc, unless he has distilled things.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Allegedly.
Gets scary.
Allegedly, right. That's true. Theoretical distilled projects.
For educational purposes.
How you doing, Nate? I shouldn't ask you until you're near a microphone, but I don't care.
Oh, it's good, man. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you doing good?
Yeah, I went camping in Oakland the other day. Not like camping under the highway like you see.
Yeah.
I haven't reached that level yet, but you can actually go camping in the parks. Up in the hills in Oakland is what Redwood Park. Went camping there for my friend's birthday the other day. It was pretty sweet.
And you won't get ran out.
No, didn't get run out. I think maybe some people were scared of us, but that's okay.
You don't seem like the camping type, but I think urban camping, as I'm just going to call it.
No. Camping's great. I love it.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Are you a glamper?
A glamper? Define.
Like fancy camping.
Glam
Oh, no,
You're not
no.
roughing it.
No,
Like
the whole point is to be minimalist about it, right?
Right.
Well, not for some people.
Bring good beer. That is cornerstone. You know,
Right.
I gotta do that.
Right.
Yeah, if you're going to be sitting out shivering in nature, you might as well be drunk.
On good beer.
Bring an acoustic guitar, pretend to play it, all that kind of stuff. Tell bad jokes, annoy your friends. It's wonderful. Camping is awesome.
Just strum it.
We should go sometime. It'd be an camping trip.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
In Oakland.
In Oakland. Because you can go there.
Because you can camp in Oakland.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. I was kind of skeptical, actually, but it was pretty sweet. I would do it again. It was really hot, too.
Wow.
And when it's hot in Oakland, it's fucking way hot out here, dude.
It's kind of closer to the... to this side of the hill, the Concord side of the hill, than the Oakland side.
Okay.
So it was beaten down.
You didn't have that protection.
100 degrees,
God.
I'm too pasty white for that. I just have to go hide under a tree or something. I just melt.
Yeah, you get stressed out.
Yeah.
You'd be like an animal. You're like, you need to crack the window for
Especially
Nate.
if you're a little hungover or something, you just start freaking out. Like you can't hang. You start dizzy and stuff. Oh, it's no good.
Were you on a lake? Isn't there a couple little lakes up there?
There might be. No, we weren't near them.
Oh, okay.
No. Urine Lake and
is it more of a ditch?
Fecal Mountain.
No, that's downtown San Francisco. Don't mix it up.
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to learn how to strum sort of melodically on the guitar, because the acoustic guitar always sounds best when you're strumming and you're just like about to play a song. You kind of just
make up chords. That's what Pink Floyd did. It worked out well. They sound great.
It's called noodling.
It's called noodling? Yeah. Isn't that catching fucking catfish with
No, it's just noodling. Oh, that's too.
Yeah, okay.
I just learn 3 chords and then say you play guitar. That's what I did.
That's right.
It really? Oh, yeah. That works out great.
Hey, a little side hustle
you
for
just pick 3 and play them over and over and over again. Great. No problem.
At various intervals would be great. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, Nate. It's been a long time, dude.
It's been a minute. Thanks. I miss all and love all y'all.
I expect
the audience as well. They're pretty good, too.
I expect at least 10 questions from you tonight.
I'll try to stay awake.
At least. Okay? Let's do some feedback. What do you think? Please. Doc, you still haven't emailed me the song, dude. I can't do feedback.
Oh, I thought I tried, and it didn't go through. I could try again.
All right.
His dial-up didn't work.
Feedback is brought to you today by the Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com if you are having problems with a trademark, if you are opening a brewery or a winery or a distillery, and you need help in navigating that mountain of paperwork. Jace doesn't know about that because I'm sure they were grandfathered in, right? I mean, they probably hosted the signing of the Declaration of Independence for all I know.
The TTV probably asked them. So what do we need to regulate?
I read in their Wikipedia page that's exactly what happened. So if you have any problems or concerns about how the TTV regulates alcohol, it's Jace's family's fault.
Oh. The head office in New Ulm, Minnesota.
They actually do trainings at our brewery. Or they have in the past. So
wow.
They'll train in new people because we just have been doing it for so long.
Wow.
So they'll go through our books and teach them how to do it the right way, the audits. And
wow.
That's got to keep you guys.
That's
super
unfortunate
honest.
For you guys.
Shit, we got a new class.
Still nerve-wracking, but
yeah.
Okay, this one is about someone's first NEIPA brew day.
Hey, there's the music.
Oh, there you go.
Throw it all away and go buy a good beer. Right. No, I'm just kidding. They can be good.
Right, yeah.
We can't digress just yet.
That's what kitchen sinks are for.
I've been listening to the BN for the last 2 years and have made it through all of the archives for The Session, Dr. Homebrew, and Lunch Meat. In my opinion, those are the only 3 shows you need to listen to. I've been brewing since 2001, but all the good shit I've learned about being a good homebrewer has come from the BN. That is, if you don't count the 3 dozen or so books I've read on the topic.
I don't.
Yeah, we don't. You'll even be happy to hear that I've been donating $20 a month to you jackasses. I have no idea what this makes me in the BN Army.
Makes you a hero.
Yes,
Thank
right.
you.
Very
That's
nice.
right, hero status. Nonetheless, even with all the wisdom you have imparted to my illustrious homebrewing career, I decided stupidly to try my hand at an NE Fuck Vermont style IPA this last weekend. Maybe this is what I hate about this email, Warren, is you and I are going to get tons of hate mail for the next 3 shows about how we crowbar cloudy IPAs in every show.
I mean, yeah, I bring it up all the time.
Right.
It's the listener's fault this time.
It is.
It usually is.
Maybe it was the fact that I hadn't brewed in 4 weeks. Maybe it was because I started cleaning my equipment with 5-star 4 days before the brew. Maybe it was because I made a 2-liter starter prerequisite the 48 hours. I don't know. This guy's drunk. Maybe it's because I'm trying to redo everything by the book. Whatever. He says, this NE-style IPA brew day turned out to be the worst one in my 16 years of brewing. He goes on about garbage. I don't know. The whole paragraph about bullshit.
Well, it sounds like he deserved it.
He says, fast forward to my boil, heat exchanger clog. He had a terrible brew day, which is, I feel you, dude. That sucks. He dropped ice in the cooling wort. His second pump died also. Moral of the story, I'm usually a process and detail-oriented brewer, but since any IPA says fuck it to that kind of thinking, this batch may turn out okay anyway, or at least it would be highly rated on Untappd. So if this fucker does turn out in the end, and since I know it's your favorite style, I'll make sure to send a shitload of it your way.
Only
Ryan,
if it's in a 16-ounce can. Otherwise, we don't want it.
No. Best to you and the Bean crew, Ryan Beersneck. P.S. Suck it, JP. Well, there you go, Ryan. I don't know why you tried to brew the beer, but you did, and that's no one can take that away.
He's trying to trick us into blaming the style again, so we're not going to take that bait.
I brewed a New England IPA. I've never had one. I heard about it. It turned out fucking cloudy. I don't understand it.
We all go through periods of self-loathing. It sounds like he is right in the middle of one.
Yeah, he's ready for it. This next one is from Blair. Says, I was in the Dallas area over the weekend, and based on your recent discussion with Chad, remember we had Chad Mosier?
Oh, yeah.
On the other... All right, that's enough of that. I think you can fade that out. Thank you, Doc. And based on your recent discussion with Chad, remember that Bankhead Brewing was nearby, and he put it in quotes, and he said, by Texas standards. I spent 8 hours on the road Saturday, and 2 of those hours were the detour to visit Bankhead for lunch. It's a hell of a lunch, dude. It was worth every minute, he says. Everything, beer, food, service, and facilities were excellent. Since they offer 4-ounce pours, I was able to try 7 different beers without worrying about the 4-hour drive ahead of me. Wow. I couldn't imagine going to a brewery and then have 4 hours sitting there waiting, like knowing I have 4 hours to do on the road.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't deal with it. I'd be like, I'm just going to miss it.
An easy blow off. I'll have another few beers and then I'll drive anyway.
Well, it's a couple of pints. It's not like we're getting...
Yeah, but I get tired. Like if I stop drinking, I get tired.
And drink
man.
that, you're probably really tired.
But I guess Texas is flat as fuck. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, close your eyes and drive.
Yeah.
Set the cruise control.
It's easy to drive on flat ground.
Right. In spite of most of these beers being just at or under 5%, I was blown away by how clean and flavorful they were. Everything from the hop character of the German Pils to the malt character of the oatmeal stout was spot on, and the blue cheeseburger and Parmesan truffle fries, Bevo, were excellent as well. My only regret is that they ran out of the Helles before I was able to try it. There's another one in the tank, so maybe I'll have to go back next weekend. Thanks for all the years of good advice and for steering me to a really great Texas brewery, even though you're 1,700 miles away. That's from Blair, who's a corporal in the BN Army. You're welcome, dude. I'm working with Chad, and by working with Chad, I'm waiting for Chad to get back to me on a date to come on the show. So we'll learn more about his brewing career.
Yeah, and then I can try the beers without having to drive 2 hours out of my way.
That's right. Blair, you're in the wrong industry. I don't know. Okay, here we go. From Sam, who is apparently hop loader in the form, I guess. Hi, BN crew, a.k.a. JP. It's Justin. Will probably go on holiday as soon as the Colorado Hop Grenade is finished. You're probably right about that. I have a couple of questions about the live stream. I've been a long-time listener and private in the Army and am completely up to date with all of the shows. So I tend to listen to the live stream because my job and a little bit of laziness, as I don't really have the capability of downloading all the shows or searching and selecting shows, blah, 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 blah. He says, number one, what is the best way to let you guys know when the stream starts doing that weird glitch stop-start thing? I don't know, Bev. I'm going to tell him.
It happens.
Don't worry about it.
Every hour in 12 minutes. Is
that the thing he's talking about?
I can do about it, yeah.
Okay, so the best way to let me know is email Warren at thebrewingnetwork.com.
And Warren,
is not
you
an actual
can not
address.
forward that to me. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's that email address is set to auto-forward to Bevo at thebrewingnetwork.com.
CC Doc at thebrewingnetwork.com. Number two, at the moment, the live stream only seems to include the shows from Martinez. Will the episodes before this be eventually added? No, because we didn't start doing live stream until Martinez. So there are no more shows because we didn't have shows on video on live stream. So kind of just got to picture it in your mind before that.
I mean, you see what we looked like in Martinez.
Right.
So just imagine that. But
yeah. And no one needs to see...
garage.
Right.
But in a
bedroom.
garage. And no one needs to see... Yes, in the bedroom. That's right. No one needs to see those images because the studios look terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Martinez didn't really look that better.
And everyone was sweating balls.
Oh, my God. It was so fucking hot.
Sitting in ball soup. How much fun.
3, are the new shows being added to the rotation on the stream? As far as I can tell, this is not the case, but not sure. I don't know what you're talking about. Are the new shows... Oh, on the stream. I don't know. You can send that email to Justin at thebrewingnetwork.com because I don't know that. Anyway, keep up the awesome work. That includes you, JP. That's from Sam. The next one is from Tom. He says, this is for Warren.
Uh-oh.
But I'm too lazy to find his email address. I was listening to the session at work today and noticed that you named your Vienna Lager Middle Out. And Warren, you're going to love this one too, by the way. Great name, but unfortunately, Fieldwork may have beat you to the punch. And then he gave you the Fieldwork URL. He says, if it makes you feel any better, it's not a hazy IPA.
Well, it doesn't, and they didn't. Mine came out in March of this year. Theirs came out in June. And they're actually working on finding a new name for theirs.
All right.
So, yes.
See, Tom? Not everything in the beer world ends in tragedy and lawsuits.
Yeah. I didn't even have to call John from the Beer Law Center because I just tweeted out or texted Alex.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
It did work out, man. It did work out. This is from Daniel in New Zealand. It's our last one, Doc, unfortunately. It says, Kia Ora. Okay. I don't know if that's his car or...
Some sort of greeting, I guess.
I'm driving the new Kia Ora with first-in-class handling.
Stop it.
I'm a few weeks behind, so hopefully Justin is still alive when you read this. I just finished listening to the Basqueland show and very much enjoyed Justin's roid-induced rant about the asshat who bitched and moaned about the software glitch in the live stream. This rant, along with the asshat not donating, was the impetus that I needed to get my fat thumbs working and sign up as a donor. I signed up at the $10 level. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Daniel. Your site says this is corporal, but PayPal says it's a sergeant. Of course it does. Of course.
Whichever one is higher, that's which one you are.
Yeah.
I think, isn't Sergeant Corporal a thing?
No.
Sure.
It is now.
Yeah. Yeah, you going to tell Daniel that he's wrong? Stuff?
Yeah, I will.
All right. Anyway, keep up the good work and don't stop the ranting. P.S. Thanks, JP, for pointing me in the direction of Wheeler Walker Jr. Well, you're welcome.
That's a life changer.
It is a life changer. Wheeler Walker is great, and you're great for listening to him, Daniel. And that was feedback brought to you by BeerLawCenter.com. I'll email John at the break. Maybe he'll get back to me. I want to know when his book's coming out.
You mean your book?
Yes, that's right. My book is really a forward, and then John backfilled all the shit.
It's nice that he wrote the afterword to your book.
I think so too. I think you're right, Warren. It is my book now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, your words come first.
That's true. Nobody can deny that.
Yeah.
Well, they can now, but
maybe.
Do we have a Twitter game, my friend?
We do.
All right, today's Twitter game is brought to you by Wine and Hop Shop. Go to wineandhopshop.com. If you're making wine, if you're making beer, which really you probably should be doing both at the same time, to be honest with you. It takes the same ingredients. It's fine. Or the equipment, rather. Not ingredients.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think there's a difference.
Wineandhopshop.com will help you out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but Justin has been gone recently.
I have not noticed.
I think he's in Colorado.
Okay.
Opening up another bar called the Hop Grenade.
Okay.
In Fort Collins.
It sounds like a terrible name.
And I believe that grand opening is actually this Saturday.
Is that still happening?
Sunday?
Saturday, isn't it?
I heard Saturday the 22nd.
Okay.
I thought he was going to postpone it.
All weekend long.
Apparently it's all weekend long.
Okay.
Anyway, everyone gets real busy in the lead up to opening of a business like that.
Sure.
And so something always gets left off the to-do list. So I'm wondering what Justin is going to forget to check off his to-do list for the grand opening party.
Okay. What's Justin going to forget to check off of his to-do list? That's a good question.
I mean, and then if he reads the Twitter responses, he might remember it for Saturday.
I'm pretty sure reading the Twitter responses will not be on his to-do list.
All right. You just won Twitter.
But we can...
And also he'll just screenshot the Twitter responses
Email Vivo
and send them to me.
at the Brewing Network.
What's that, Beth?
Cue the credits.
Yeah.
I said he'll also just screenshot the Twitter responses and email them to me and tell me to do them.
Delegation.
I was texting him photos for some project they're doing, and I texted like 3 photos, and he goes, "Can you email these to me?" Bitch, you can't download them on your phone and email them to yourself, you motherfucker. So I got to sit there like thumbing through all the photos again because I couldn't download them and email them to myself because then I would have copies of the same photos I already have.
Oh, that'd be the worst.
I know. You know how much digital garbage I have on my phone?
Your phone is probably mostly digital garbage.
It's true.
Get rid of some of the porn.
Porn is not garbage.
Porn is, it's art. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, but you can keep
art.
that shit in the cloud.
I don't care how many
that.
legs the people have in it. It's... Why? What, Bev?
You got to speak into your microphone.
Stop it. My microphone was turned off.
She didn't need it.
Yeah, apparently she didn't need it. She got some lungs, man. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. I think it's probably the wisest thing to do.
Yes.
My glass is broke.
Because the faster we get to break, the faster we come back and drink lagers. With Jace Marti from August Schell Brewing. It's the session, everyone. Stay tuned. And if you're lucky, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
The 21st Amendment. Watch out! Do you like beer? They make beer. Watch out! Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun. Watch out! Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment. Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out! This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, the practical guide to aroma, bitterness, and the culture Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Marin Brewing Company in Northern California has been making award-winning beers for more than 25 freaking years. Today, I want to tell you about their new 12-ounce cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale. The good stuff. Mount Tam is bright gold, 5.5% ABV to keep you feeling good, and has been winning awards since 1989. If you're visiting the Bay Area, get your butt out to Marin Brewing Company. They pour tasty beers and serve great food every day until midnight. Come in for a tour, stay for the food, and pick up a six-pack of cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale to enjoy at home, camping, biking, or whatever the hell you do. Owner Brendan Moylan has this to say about Marin Brewing beers.
It's freaking awesome.
Marin Brewing has won more than 100 gold medals in international competitions. Check out marinbrewing.com for all their award-winning beers, food, and merch. Marin Brewing Company in Larkspur, California. Award-winning taste, refreshing finish. It's freaking awesome.
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us. Bev is pouring some tasty beers for us. And I want to tell you guys about what time it is. Warren, do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time to replace that old dog-eared copy of John Palmer's How to Brew. Unless, of course, he signed it, and then you should, never replace it and just, get another one. Our friends at Brewers Publications have just published the 4th edition of How to Brew, and it's essentially a totally new book. The 4th edition clocks in at 600 pages, and every chapter has been updated and expanded. My dentures are showing.
Yes.
And there are 5 totally new chapters. Whether you want simple, surefire instructions for making your first beer, or you're a seasoned home brewer working with all-grain batches, this book has something for you. From ingredients and methods to recipes and equipment for brewing at home, How to Brew is loaded with valuable information on brewing techniques and recipe formulation. Grab your copy at brewerspublications.com.
My favorite homebrewing book. Hands down.
Hands down. Hands up.
I haven't read the new one.
Hands up.
So I haven't read the new pages, but the old pages were really good.
If the old pages are any reflection of what the new pages are going to be, then it's going to be great.
Even better.
Still your favorite?
Yep. I'll make it my favorite preemptively.
Okay, good. I'm really glad to hear this, Warren. Yeah. I really am. All right, Jace. My man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm really happy, number one, that you came out for the show.
Yeah.
Like that you're here in the studio, that you take us seriously. Never mind that your friend lives in... don't worry about that. But that you take us seriously enough and to be here.
Jace didn't listen, that's why.
Right, he's never listened to the show.
He just thought he had to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I respect that. So welcome to the studio. Welcome to Concord.
Thank you.
How's the hotness treating you? Are you surviving?
I am a Minnesotan through and through, and we don't deal with this.
No.
No.
Yesterday it was 105 in Concord.
It was 103 in the car over here.
God damn.
Wrong.
But there's no humidity, though. That helps a little bit, right?
Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's a dry. Yeah, it's a dry. What does it get out there? What's the top?
I mean, 90s maybe.
Jesus,
for a day.
Paradise. Really, and that's it.
I mean, high 80s is kind of like
and everyone's just overheating everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We don't deal with heat.
But you're a young enough guy where you can
take
handle
winter.
it.
Yeah, 6 months of that, no problem.
Jeez, man, jeez. Okay, well, you are brewing at August Schell, right?
Yeah.
And you're not only brewing, and see, I didn't know this when we were kind of emailing, but you own it. Your family owns the brewery.
Yes, correct. We're the second oldest family-owned brewery in the country. My dad is the president right now, so I'm the sixth generation of the family.
Wow.
Is there a second oldest non-family owned brewery that's older? I mean, why is there a distinction? Or does it matter? Family owned versus not.
Are you asking me or Jace?
Well, I didn't think you would know.
I guess
you're looking at me.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I mean, technically, AB InBev, is older.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
I believe Minhas in Monroe is older. Point.
Oh, okay.
But they've all changed ownerships many times.
So many times. Yeah.
Okay.
A point of distinction that we've remained family.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I like, and I think it's especially in this industry in the last 20 years or whatever. I think it's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you guys bought it from the Shells.
No,
okay.
It's always been family owned. The name just changed from Schell to Marti. So August Schell.
Okay.
August Schell founded the company.
Okay.
He left Germany. He was born in Durbach, Germany, in 1828. Left Germany when he was 20 years old. Moved to the U.S. Joined up with a group called the Turner Society, which was this group of German immigrants that didn't want to be bound by a religion. So they just believed in education, physical fitness, and they wanted to build frontiers out west, kind of based on those principles. So. Got in contact with one of those groups and went to Minnesota, went west, and founded a city called New Ulm.
Okay.
And that the city today, the Turner Hall is still there, and that's kind of like the city center. But he was a part of that group. He was originally a miller, and he worked at the Eagle Roller Mill, and quickly realized a town full of Germans needs a brewery.
Right.
And
if you don't like religion, you like to get high.
Yeah. So he started a brewery a couple years later in 1860. And so he founded it, ran it, kind of, explosive growth. There was 7 breweries in New Ulm, a very small town. And he passed it on to his son, Otto. Otto really expanded the brewery a lot. A lot of the buildings that we have today still at the brewery were built by him, including our old brew house. But he got pneumonia and died kind of suddenly in 1911, and that's when it shifted from Schell to Marti. And that was August's son-in-law, George Marti, that took over.
Okay, the in-law side took it over. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's been Marti ever since.
Wow. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So
there's a ton of history if you go there too. It's
really
cool. And it's a
I really
cool,
want to go there, dude.
Brewery grounds. There's have a museum kind of side of it set up, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and the story of them, how they survived Prohibition, is really interesting. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
I want to chat about that, but I want to talk about just the grounds for a second, like Nate was talking about. So there's they lived on the grounds.
Yeah. So
do you live on the grounds?
We don't.
Okay. Is that a stupid question?
No. So my grandparents were the last one to live there, and that's kind of where I grew up. Was in Grandma Grandpa's house is the mansion there.
So you grew up on the property that you're working.
Well, we lived outside, but my grandparents were still living there.
Right.
And it's a little bit like living in a fishbowl. Sure. We get a lot of tourists, and we'd be having dinner, and people just walk in the house. And,
really?
Walking in the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thinking it's just part of the the grounds or tours.
This is another lovely brick building.
Yeah.
Let's go in and see what's going on.
Yeah. So
the peacocks didn't scare them away.
Oh, look at these actors eting a meal just like they would.
Just like they would.
As if it was yesterday.
Yeah, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, funny. So we don't live on the brewery grounds, but it's the reason they picked the spot. And if you get to come see it, it is really beautiful. We're on a wooded hillside right on the Cottonwood River banks, and picked that spot because of a natural stream coming out of the hillside, and then obviously the hillside we could dig tunnels into the hillside. So we had natural lagering caves, and then all winter long they would harvest ice from the river, and that's how we extended our brewing season into the summertime.
Jeez.
How many months would that allow for brewing to happen? All year, or would it be just maybe 8 or 9 months?
at the end, they had a pretty big ice house, and they would pack it full of sawdust, and I think that was enough to get through the summertime.
Wow.
I wasn't there, so I guess
Well, okay.
don't really remember.
What do you know then?
Yeah.
He was born during refrigeration.
Oh, okay.
But we got our...
he might know.
That's true.
We got our first ammonia compressor, and it's still at the brewery. If you see it, it's part of the tour in 1898. So
ammonia compressor.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was for chilling. So then,
okay.
Prior to that, that allowed us to brew year round. But before then, it was probably seasonal.
Is that what they were? Is that compressed ammonia? Is it a chilling agent? I'm looking at Doc.
It's
now
an old refrigerant.
Yeah, it's an open system, I think. Yeah. That's what they use to chill.
We still
That's
use
crazy.
ammonia.
Oh, really?
Safest thing.
Yeah, well, I meant old because, it's not the safest thing.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there are safer options now.
So we use ammonia to chill the glycol. It's more efficient, but it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
What's dangerous about it?
It can kill you.
Right. It's not
ammonia gas.
You don't survive very long in a very ammonia-rich environment.
No, it's like Venus.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you? What's the? It seems like a terrible trade-off. I don't not to not to slag you guys
It's more
off,
efficient.
Okay.
And because we're old and we've just always had it, we've continued to use it.
All right, it's quaint.
We don't use ammonia compressors in the cellars now, which is a safety
That's
thing.
safer.
Yeah. 4 years ago, we stopped. So it's fine.
Not much longer than that, actually.
Hey, they've been around since 1860.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. That's crazy to me. That's crazy, man. But it clearly works, and you guys clearly know how to deal with it safely. So that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Yep. We have a full-time boilerman working all the time. That
wow.
Runs the compressors.
And the stream still flows freely, and you have enough water for that?
We outgrew the well source, so we get it from the city now. That was probably mid-'90s when we switched over, but it all comes from the same source, so it's just more of a consistency thing.
Right.
And, yeah.
So growing up at the brewery, did you have aspirations to make beer, to brew beer, or did you not give a shit about it because you were
it was. I was there every day. I mean, this is where we went after school and go play on malt bags and climb on equipment that we shouldn't have. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was, and then playing in the gardens in the brewery grounds. So it was kind of I don't know. It was just a natural thing. I guess that's what it's like. Is it a no-brainer? Like, this is what I'm going to do, or was it a family? Like, hey, look, Jace, we got to keep it in the family. Let's, come on, let's get real for a second. it was always something I enjoyed doing. It was never really. I wanted to be an astronaut, when I was little, but
sure.
No. So it was something that just kind of grew up in, and my dad said, if you want to work here, you're going to start at the bottom. And he would always give us the worst jobs, the cleaning the darkest corners and doing all the shit work that he wouldn't make anyone else do. So, but I appreciate that, and it was, and still to this day, I would never make anyone do something I wouldn't do myself or haven't done myself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's how you can wield a lot of power, is what you're saying.
It's good leadership.
Yeah. No, so you want to be a brewer.
Yeah.
What happens? What did you do? Go to school?
Yeah. I started in high school. I was right after high school. I had to be 18, whatever. But started in the bottle house. We were doing a lot of contract brewing at the time, so every day was closing a different box, and that was always interesting. And we did returnables as well. Returnable bottles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were one of the last breweries to still do that. So at the beginning of the line, you get the pallets of empty beer bottles in and.
Open cigarette butts.
Oh my God!
Were
you'd find in bottles.
Really, just a bunch of shit in there.
Yeah.
Were there incentives?
Hygiene products.
Yeah, just be glad one-way bottles took over. Yeah.
Were there incentives to still do that?
There is. I know Straub still does it.
Okay.
Reusing, and then you kind of get into the debate of chemicals and water usage and energy usage versus new bottles. So it's savings wise, but environmentally, it kind of
right. I mean, environmentally, it can make sense, but from a brewery's perspective, like their cost and the effort to go through cleaning those reused bottles and everything.
Probably now. I mean, Germany, it's still commonplace they all do returnables.
Mm-hmm.
But we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so there's not. If you had a pool of other breweries doing it that you'd kind of share bottles, it would probably make more sense. But we were glad to get out of it.
Much more hassle than it's worth.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure the retailer hated it too.
Oh yeah, it was a hassle around because then you gotta store them at the liquor store. You
gotta pay
and then get them back. And
jeez, you got to strip them probably and relabel them and do all that. Wow. That's a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Some tradition should die, Warren.
Right. Yeah, there's a landfill for that.
Well, we're guilt-free because we have to recycle it. So.
That's correct.
None of it goes to the landfill.
Right. We put it in the green bin before it goes to the landfill.
Right. The green bin is for yard waste.
I put it in the green bin.
Somewhere at the yard waste facility or whatever.
Right,
There's a bunch of fucking bottles like Warren drank. Yeah. Way to go, Warren. You screwed that whole chain up.
That's how you recycle, right?
Yes.
Just don't put it in the same bin twice.
You just put coffee grounds in it first. You go, I'm just being efficient.
Right. Space management.
Break that glass down.
So you worked in the bottle shop?
Yeah.
Did all that kind of stuff?
Yep, and then I was going to college. I went to the Minnesota Duluth, and I went for graphic design. I was doing like advertising. So when I graduated, I was kind of doing that, working with, did our package redesign, a lot of advertising. Did that a couple years, and wanted to ultimately get into brewing.
Yeah.
So I switched, worked in the brew house fermenters for a little bit, and then went off to brewing school. I went to the VLB in Berlin.
Okay.
It's a 6-month course. So I spent 6 months in Berlin. Then I worked at 2 different breweries. One just north of Bamberg in Kemmern called Wagnerbräu, and then at the Trumer Brewery in Austria.
Ah, okay. We have their sister brewery.
Yeah.
So, have you had the Trumer pills from over here?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
So my classmate is Josef Siegel the Eighth. And
cool.
So he is now running the Trumer Brewery in Austria.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of how I got to go work there for a little bit.
So which Trumer brewery makes better Pilsner?
Oh.
Austria. No, it's really good here. But the Trumer one, they have open fermenters that are absolutely badass. I mean, if you go look online, those open fermenters are pretty sweet. And they top crop and Kreuzenet. I don't think they have them here.
No, they don't.
I don't think
it's not open here.
Yeah.
I don't think
they're both excellent. I'm not trying to take anything away.
Sure.
Just give a slight edge to Austria.
Well, it's those little subtleties that can kind of give that deeper. The deeper flavors, right?
One of the coolest things I took back from there, it was an old brewery that closed. The guy died when I was in Bamberg. I went and visited him, and he said, and I was just trying to barely catch along with this German. He's taking me through this old brew house, and he's probably 90, and he goes, it's all the little things that make the difference. It's the littlest things that all add up to big things. And just stuff like that. Those little differences, they all add up.
That makes sense. I mean, you can get, I think, 60 to 80% there in any beer, but it's that little stuff that pushes it over from a good beer to a great beer.
And that's why the weights of grains you use and the amounts of hops that you add, you can give that to anybody, and the beer's not going to taste the same.
Right, because they don't
brewery.
do the same stuff.
Yeah, it's all it's all the little things, fermenter shapes, open fermenters versus closed.
Yeah, I mean, they source 3 different Pilsner malts, 2 from Austria, 1 from Germany, and they blend them. And it's just stuff no one thinks of doing here.
No,
right.
That seems like too much work for me.
Right. You mean I have to order 3 malts instead of 1?
Well, and it's not even that, but it's finding the ratio. How many beers do you have to make till you find out this is the ratio that I want right here? A third, a third, and a third.
Or you're constantly adjusting it because you kind of know what those 3 components can do, perhaps.
Right. Do you do a single malt beer version to taste each one and then start combining them, or doing a beer that's blended?
Because your whole point is to make it consistent. I would just.
Well, but otherwise, how would you know when you adjust the ratio, what's going to happen?
No, you get some Erlenmeyer flask. You could do 100 malt tests in one day if you put your mind to it. I mean, you can do it.
That's the thing is, I don't want to do that. I have Destiny 2 to play tomorrow. Like I don't want to do that. But that's remarkable that people can do that, and then that's their thing. That makes me a terrible home brewer because I don't give a shit.
It's one of those little things that make a difference, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true. So while you're over there, if I remember correctly, is when you kind of got the Berliner Weisse.
Yeah, I mean, I was homebrewing before that,
okay.
And it was something that was kind of in the back of my mind. I wanted to learn as much as I could about Berliner Weisse while I was over there.
Why that style? What spoke to you about that?
So we're
in Berlin.
In old. That was one of them.
Looking for a longer-winded answer.
Yeah, I can give you that one too.
Thank you.
We focus specifically on German style beers.
Yeah.
And in an era when there's 7,000 breweries in the country, I think you got to specialize and you have to be known for something. And so we focus specifically on our heritage in American lagers, but also just German style beers in general. and we had these old wooden tanks, and we can talk about it later when we're drinking them. But I was kind of like, all right, how do we use these wooden tanks and use them to make something unique? And sour beers was kind of a natural progression, and then reading Randy Mosier's book, the Odd Brews or Wild. It's the
Randy Mosier.
Which one?
Jeff Sparrow was the Wild Brews, but Randy Mosier was. Come on, Nate.
I read his tasting beer.
It's a homebrewing show. Come on.
Fuck, I know, but we're illiterate dicks.
Extreme Brewing or something.
Radical beers.
Radical
beers.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Berliner Weisse was in there. It was German sour beers. I'm like,
okay.
Well, hey, it's German beers, and that would fit.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so I started homebrewing sours, kind of based off that. And
did you tell your dad? And like,
beer.
I can imagine. When you told the family, like, hey, I want to start doing sour beers and your clean lager, did you get like kicked off the dinner table or something? Or what?
That took a long time to convince my dad to do that. Yeah.
Did it?
But one of the cool things about that, where these two wooden tanks were, it was an abandoned cellar basically, so it was already separated from the rest of production. So we kind of had that.
Right, so they sent you to the black mold city of, okay, got it. Right.
Yeah, more or less.
Like, if he survives, then he is truly risen.
It'll be drinkable if he comes out.
Right. So they shipped you up, which is cool that you have abandoned parts of the facilities.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty neat, man. So they shipped you off there, and they said, okay, you can have this area of...
Yeah, but I mean, I went to school to learn how to make lager.
You went to school, right. So you
this
knew
was my own little side pet project that I wanted.
So you came back, and they were like, that's cool, we'll let you do this?
But, we're an old brewery, and we have a lot of things that could use some improvement. So that was one of my goals, was just make a lot of improvements and bring the brewery up to speed in some certain things. So that's
like not using not killing your entire brew staff, and I don't want to like air dirty laundry, but it was just quality control stuff and just general stuff that every brewery has to deal with.
There's tips and tricks. I mean, natural carbonation was one of the first things that we did. Getting spooning valves, we hadn't done that before. And those little things again that I think make a big difference. That was one of the first things we did. Working with malts, we switch our base malt to a different variety that we think is more European, even though it's an American malt. Just little
stuff like that.
So a lot of little things, and then cleaning up the brewery too is kind of.
Did they also let you use those tanks because they couldn't get them out?
Well, they're out now.
Okay.
But it was like, well, I guess if you can make it hold beer.
So when you came back and you said, hey, well, how do I ask this question? Were the problems known to you beforehand, and you went over there to solve some of these, or was it?
No, we were making good beer. That was never
and I don't want to say that you weren't. I don't mean to say that. But like the little changes, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're an old brewery, I think in an era when everybody is, we talked about earlier, less than 20 years old or less than 5 years old, everybody wants what's new.
Right.
And if you're not constantly trying to improve and better your product, then you're gonna fall by the wayside, and no one's gonna care anymore. And so it was all right. We got to keep moving forward.
Sure,
keep getting better.
Okay, and so I guess the point was, you coming back from brewing school into the family business and saying, hey, I have some ideas. How were those received? Is that kind of what you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
It's fine. It sounds like.
So we
felt like no one cared.
There's a saying that goes at the brewery. It's new hurts.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that have worked there longer than I've been alive.
Okay.
And change doesn't come easy.
Right.
And I'll say that. So. But yeah, it just takes time, and this is why we have to do this. All right, let's we have to start doing this. We have to change this. I know we've always done this, but not anymore. So those kinds of things, and working with.
That kind of stuff just fascinates me about how people change and why they change and what the catalyst is, and especially in a long established brewery such as yours, I would imagine that would be a difficult kind of thing to do any sort of change.
Like, give us a sense of the scale. Like, how many people are on like the brewing staff on the hot side?
So we I think last year we did about 130,000 barrels of beer, 130, 135.
Wow.
I think full time we have 60 people.
Yeah.
And
so 60 people, and like you were saying, of those 60 people, some of them may have been there quite some time, and you have to think about new ideas and retrain. That can take a second.
Yeah, and not trying to turn the ship completely around, but just little tweaks here and there.
We want to do all IPAs now. Everything overhopped.
Process modernization.
It's a new German style.
Yeah, we're automating everything.
Yeah.
Well, so many things like capturing CO2 and some savings associated with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
People would buy into that, right?
Mm-hmm. But even then, it was like, all right, we do a trial and do tasting tests side by side. And, yeah. So it was
okay. How long had it been?
Nothing happens quickly.
Right. How long had it been since the brewery introduced like a new branded beer at that point when you were getting involved?
We'd always been introducing new beers. We started. We were at the forefront of craft brewing. We started in the early '80s making our Pilsner and our wheat beer, and so that was nothing new. It was just other little things that
production stuff,
process efficiency kind of things, and looking at things with a different critical eye. Probably.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make those changes. Mm-hmm. When do you get to start your Berliner Weisse project?
So we brewed the first one. And I can get in this when we're drinking them, but
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you want to talk about that now or save it for later.
Let's save it for later.
Okay.
Put it in context.
Yeah, because then it'll make more sense when we're drinking them. Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a couple beers in front of us right now,
and iconic ones.
Yeah. And we'll still talk about the brewery and all that kind of stuff, but we have beers open, and I don't want to.
I wanted to start with these beers just because it's a big part of us. So we're
what are we drinking?
We are an old American lager brewery. Part of the Midwest, Minnesota, grain belt, American lagers through and through. And so in front of us, we have the two American lagers that we make, depending on how they got instead on the one on the left or the slightly more golden one.
Yeah, it's either the light yellow or the light
one on
yellow.
the left should be grain belt, I think, for most of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have guessed the other way.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
The one on the right is the red can.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one on the right was the grain belt.
Backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. So a beer we introduced in 1912 is called Schell's Deer Brand, and we've made it ever since. This is the blue can we have in front of here. This was our American lager that we've always made.
Deer Brand.
Deer Brand. Yep.
Why Deer Brand?
The August Schell family crest has a deer on it.
Okay.
August Schell's dad was a forester, and we still have deer on the brewery grounds to this day. And so that was just kind of our mascot. And
the whole state of Minnesota has deer on it.
Yeah.
The tag says, the taste that tells.
Yeah, so that's a retro can from the 50s.
Did you? Is this one of your designs? No, you said it was from the 50s.
Yeah, it was a rebrand.
He designed it back in the 50s.
In utero.
Yeah, so we've always made Deer Brand. That's kind of what we were always known for prior to
Deer
being
Brand.
craft beer. And then in 2002, we another Minnesota brewery that was pretty iconic and big went out of business, and we bought the rights to that brand. That's called Grain Belt Premium. So the two beers I brought today that I want to talk about is Deer Brand and Premium. And the reason I wanted to do that to have you guys try these side by side is. Greg Casey, Troy Casey's dad from Casey Brewing and Blending. Mm-hmm. He was a brewing scientist at Molson back in the 80s. And he did this research project where he genetically identified and was able to trace back every single lager strain in the world back to two original strains. And that was the Carlsberg strain and the Tuborg strain. And that goes back to, Christian Hansen. You guys all know the story about him isolating the first pure lager strain. And, Tuborg being right next door, and they're friendly people. Hey, can you do that same thing with our yeast?
Right.
Sure. So he makes a pure strain, and now you have these two pure lager strains, one from the Carlsberg Brewery, one from the Tuborg Brewery.
Everything came from those.
Every single lager strain can be traced back to those two original strains.
This is the Adam and Eve of lager strains.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yep.
And he determined that they were different?
Yes.
Okay.
They are genetically different. And through his research, he was able to determine kind of some characteristics of each strain. He said that the Carlsberg strain was a little less refined, a little rougher in character, produces a little more sulfur, and it's kind of a hard-working strain. If it gets too hot, too cold, it doesn't really matter. It just keeps doing its thing, and it's going to produce its thing. You're going to get what you get. The Tuborg strain, what he said was the more refined strain, but it's also a bit of a prima donna. It only likes a certain temperature, If it gets too hot or too cold, it's going to stop. It's a cleaner fermentation, not as sulfury. And the two beers we have in front of you are examples of one of each strain.
Oh,
and
wow.
As far as we know, we're the only brewery that's using them both.
Wow.
And the way we got them from, the Deer Brand strain came from the Schaefer Brewery in New York.
Okay.
Our old brewmaster would have gotten it from them sometime back in like the 60s, I think.
Wow.
And we just kept repitching it. And eventually, once yeast banks came around, banked it. And it, it had kind of mutated towards what it is now. The Grain Belt strain we got when we took the Grain Belt brand on, that came from the Christian Schmidt Brewery, which came from the Tuborg Brewery.
Oh,
Interesting.
Okay. Wow. God, I loved it. See, I knew this show would be fucking rad because I think we were so, to use a phrase from Sully, we're so close to the windshield or the dashboard or whatever his fucking phrase is that you need to look back and be like, the whole industry is a lot bigger than what you think it is.
Well, yeah, and it's been around for a while.
Right, just a little bit.
The yeast I use came from White Labs.
Right, yeah, before yeast banks, for God's sake.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we literally pitched our strain like 40 years.
Thousands of times, like over and over.
Yeah, and actually to this day, that our Deer Brand strain, once it gets above like 10 generations, that's kind of what hits its stride. I think that's when the sulfur character kind of hits its groove, we think, and we'll let that one go longer.
Like contrary to conventional wisdom, that's
where the Grain Belt one starts to,
that's cool.
And so, how many generations will you go?
We'll still, we'll cut it under 20, 20, but it just seems like those later generations. And we don't have if we had like a good yeast propagation system, I think we'd treat it a little differently yet. But so that one we'll let go a little longer, and then we like the results of it better.
Okay.
So something I'm just passionate, because it's such a big part of our business, and this is just two examples side by side of two beers that are more or less the same recipe, but you can just taste how the lager yeast makes a difference in the flavor profile. And then if you ever wanted to do expand it out more, if you got a Liney's Original,
Leinenkugels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much have to go to Chippewa Falls to get it.
The other way, yeah.
That's also a Tuborg strain. I don't know where they got theirs, but it's kind of like the Grain Belt. And then if you get a Stevens Point Special, that would be like our Deer Brand with the Carlsberg strain. And then you could really see, that's like a 4-beer snapshot into how diverse American lagers would have been a long time ago.
Right.
And now
the
they kind of
yeast,
get shit on because they're just watery beers, but there would have been some pretty big flavor differences because all these breweries would have just gotten yeast from some other brewery and just kept repitching it, and it would have gone.
So these two beers in the brew house are treated the same on the fermentation side from a fermenter geometry perspective and that kind of stuff, or is it different?
No, they're different recipes, but more or less
same tanks used for primary type.
Yeah, Grain Belt's a larger brand for us, so they're made in bigger tanks.
Okay.
Deer Brand is a smaller vessels, but
it's more of like a volume or a market difference than it is a brew house choice.
And the recipes are slightly different. But like I said, stepping back a step, they're more or less the same. But treat them the same with fermentation temperatures and all that stuff. But you can really get a sense where the Deer Brand has a lot more sulfur character to it.
Definitely.
The Grain Belt's a lot cleaner.
And let's taste them. Sorry, Warren. Go ahead. Ask your question while I drink beer.
The American Lager strain from White Labs, I believe, is attributed to you guys. Do you know which strain?
You guys were talking about that last week with Drake's on the
because Drake's used it for a while.
Strain for a while.
Yeah.
I would have to see which one it is.
Okay.
I would guess it's probably the Grain Belt strain.
Okay.
I know they talked about it kicking diacetyl, and all lager strains are going to kick diacetyl.
Yeah,
right.
And that would, to me, with the more finicky strain.
Okay.
You need your diacetyl rest, and it needs to be kind of a perfect scenario for it to behave how it should.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I did get some yeast from Drake's to do a lager because I heard it was from you guys, and it was very diacetyl. It was very sensitive to the temperature and kicked out a lot of diacetyl during fermentation.
What'd you pitch it at?
This was probably 5 years ago. It was a homebrew batch. I probably pitched it at 48 and then let it free rise up to 52 and then let it sit there. And then I also, it was just after I talked with Dan Gordon, and he...
Name drop.
Yeah, right. Well, he was on the show and we talked about it.
Oh, that's right.
About not doing a warm diacetyl rest, doing just gradual, slow drops. And that did not help the diacetyl go away in that beer.
Well, over time it would, but how much time you got?
Well, yeah. It cold lagered for probably a month, and it was still there.
Yeah, once it's cold, it's...
Yeah, right.
You got to get it out while it's fermenting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that beer didn't turn out.
Diacetyl. You're saving diacetyl.
So do you guys do a warm diacetyl rest?
Yeah, we'll pitch colder and we'll free rise.
Okay.
Depending on the beer. So like these will free rise up to 59 actually.
Okay.
And then we'll hold it there till it clears.
Okay. And then start chilling it.
Yep. And then we
do you guys do a fast chill or do you step it down gradually?
It takes usually about, I would say, 2 to 3 days, depending on the fermenter. Some are better than others.
Oh, okay.
better cooling than others.
But you'd go faster if you could? Are you trying to knock the yeast out, or you want it to stay in so you can...
Well, we do a full lagering, so it will...
Fine. So you want some yeast in it.
Well, because some people like to do gradual, like 5 degrees a day,
and
then drag it out.
This is how we treat our American lagers, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool, though. I like this. You get 2 different strains for like a beer. This is like a 16-ounce can you could buy for fairly inexpensive in Minnesota. You just want 2 beers. You would figure they're coming from the same brewery. It's a lager. It's the same lager yeast.
Yeah.
But no, actually, there's this difference, and you consciously chose that for flavor profile. For that.
I mean, we had our shell strain. That was always our strain, and when we brought this other brand on, we had the brewing staff come down and teach us how to make that beer, and with that came the lager strain. So, and we've used it ever since.
That's dope. Well, let's talk about the flavors that we're tasting here with the Deer brand and the grain belt.
Can I get the grain belt again, please?
Yes, you can. I'll give you the belt, baby. Nate, what do you think, man? You haven't been here in a while. Let's wear you out.
What's going on in conversation around the sulfur. A little bit more sulfur in Deer brand is definitely there, but it also locks in a certain complexity of the malt flavor in a way too. It's kind of cool. It's not just sulfur for sulfur's sake. There's it's working with the beer, so to speak, and grain belt is simpler, cleaner, but it's also got just more of a brightness in terms of all the flavor profile is because of that, in my opinion.
I agree. I think the grain belt is almost
simpler.
Smoother.
It's simpler in many aspects.
The Deer brand?
No, grain belt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much Pilsner character, I think, as the Deer.
Interesting.
There's probably corn or something.
These are both American lagers.
Adjunct American lagers,
yep.
right? Yeah. So there's corn or flake corn or cooked, depending on their process, in probably each of these. But the grain belt seems to be, proportion-wise, I would guess maybe even slightly larger, or that just seems to dominate a little bit more.
It is sweeter.
Yeah.
I think a little bit in that regard, or like a full mouthfeel.
Less IBU, too, maybe, but not much. I mean, there's not a ton of IBU in either of these beers.
No.
I think.
You think the grain belt sweeter? Is that what you're saying?
But there's different things going on.
Oh, sure, right, yeah.
Less IBU.
Right, yeah, perceived sweetness is sweeter, yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah. Jace, what is the IBU? What are the IBU? What and be the IBUs on these?
I think the Deer brand's around 18, and the grain belt's probably a little lower. So, yeah.
Look at Nate.
You're right on there.
I was guessing. It seems like about there, like, maybe mid-teens or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know you're not... all the beers I have today are like sub-25 IBU.
God!
Perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful. Nothing wrong with that.
Love it.
Yeah, this is the best Monday I've had in a while.
Me too. I couldn't wait for it. Couldn't wait for it, man. I'm sitting there this week, and I'm like, God, I can't wait for Monday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to drink some beers. And fucking good. I won't have anything to complain about. It'll be great.
How long has the 16-ounce can been part of the product, like, packaged portfolios? And when I was growing up in Minnesota, I remember bottles. It's like you'd see bottles everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the 16-ounce can, is that within the last 10 years or longer than that?
I don't know exactly when we started the 16-ounce cans. We've been canning since probably the 50s.
Right.
But yeah, the 16-ounce can is a more recent thing.
So a new format, yeah. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really the only thing that has changed with these beers is we've switched from 6-row to 2-row malt. 6-row is more or less getting phased out of all brewing in the U.S. now.
You can't find it anymore.
It's still available, but all the research has stopped. It's all been switched to 2-row.
Got it.
And
just an industry-wide change.
Yeah, and 2-row is actually, it's a better brewing malt anyway.
Okay.
It's a smoother, it's just more refined. But the reason American lagers became to be was because of 6-row barley.
Right.
That was all that was grown in North America. That was what native, and it was super high in protein, super high in
diastolic.
Yeah. So you needed to cut that somehow, and that's why corn came to be. That was a way of cutting down that protein and the diastatic bar.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And so, do you guys use flaked corn? What version of corn do you guys use?
Syrup.
Corn syrup. Okay,
Yep, and that came from Grainbelt.
Okay.
Not high fructose.
Is the Deer brand got some adjuncts in it also?
Yeah, they both are.
Oh, okay.
Which one do you like best, Warren?
I think I prefer the Deer brand a little bit more.
Really?
Yes.
See, I agree with Nate. I think that whatever Nate says is pretty much I agree with.
So I'm wrong? Is
So
that
you're
what you're
wrong,
saying?
yeah.
Okay.
But no, I mean, for me, the Dearborn does have, like, in like the mid palate, there's like I don't want to call it an effervescence because it's not an effervescence, but it's like it has like a little more kind of lighter flavors in the mid palate. It's hard to describe for me because I'm stupid. But the Grain Belt is kind of has that sweeter, perceptive, kind of malt thing happening, and it's I don't want to call it like I don't even know how to describe it because they're just so different. Because I don't taste these beers often enough.
Yeah,
I have no frame of reference for these because what we have out here, maybe you can get a Hamm's that's fresh, or maybe you can get like a Coors Banquet is kind of what I drink. But even then, it's 9 times out of 10, I'll open it and it's fucking green apple bombs.
Yeah,
and so I don't have like a big frame of reference for these kind of beers. But I think I like the Grain Belt better because it reminds me more of what I guess I would call a craft lager, a craft pilsner. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because there's a little bit more flavor there.
I like the Deer brand because there is the little hint of sulfur, and it is lighter, crisper, drier malt feel. But compared to the Grain Belt, kind of the little hint of sulfur that's in the Deer brand, I get a little hint, and maybe it's kind of reinforced by the a little bit more residual sweetness, or just a perceived sweetness, but like a hint of acetaldehyde.
Yes.
And so
absolutely.
I prefer the hint of sulfur to the hint of acetaldehyde.
Yeah, I would drink which way each yeast leans a little bit in terms of what it would kick out if you treated it in different ways.
So that the Tuborg strain, what you're talking about with the hint of green apple, that's what Budweiser uses.
Right.
And those are
exactly.
green apple.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Now everything makes sense.
And so I'd prefer the drier sulfur flavors, subtle flavors compared to the subtle green apple flavors in the Grain Belt.
Tasty, what about you? You've been quiet.
Well, they're both excellent beers. I hate to say it like one over the other. They're both really good.
Right.
Have you ever entered both in a competition to see how they go against each other?
No.
You should. We did some data.
Yeah.
But what's your preference? If you had $5,
I like the Deer. No, I said earlier, I'd like the Deer better.
You like? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
Pilsner character.
Okay.
But I don't know whether that's a malt bill thing, or the yeast is letting it come through, or it's accentuating it. I don't know, but I do like the malt character in the Deer.
Okay. Doc, what about you, man? You're a lager, dude.
Yeah, they're both clean.
Which would you drink? What's your Desert Island beer?
Probably the Deer brand.
Really?
Yeah. Just kind of got a little more to it.
Yeah.
I like the other one too.
Yeah, they're
my
both great.
My allergies are pretty bad today, so it's almost cutting out any kind of aroma for me.
For a genetic superhuman, you have so many allergies.
It's just getting worse and worse. But today, with the high heat out there and everything, and I can't smell either one of them, and it really makes them really similar to me.
Yeah,
really similar.
Yeah, and that was kind of the point. Is I wanted to bring two American lagers to actually do a side by side to see them differently. But if you can't smell, then
it's amazing because usually I can tell at least if they're similar, but side by side especially, it's mouthfeel for me.
Yeah, and it's subtle. It's going to be subtle.
The Deer brand's got more mouthfeel to it. So.
This is dope.
Yeah, this is a great test.
Oh,
both of these beers are really good.
We have a phone call. I need to go click on my clickety-clacker.
And so,
Mark from New Zealand. Okay, we're going to take a phone call real fast. This will be Mark from New Zealand.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Hey, I was just wondering a quick query for the kids. You said that the American lager yeast was one example of the two different strains. You wouldn't happen to know what an example of the other strain is?
Mark, do me a favor. If you threw your phone down the hallway and stood there, would you mind walking to your phone? Because you're like 12 feet away from your phone.
I just turned the tractor off.
Oh, perfect. The tractor is very loud. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead and ask your question again, please.
So you gave an example that the American lager strain was an example of one of the two lager strains. You wouldn't happen to know a homebrewer available version of is it the Tuborg, the other one?
Yeah, and I don't know which one Y East has banked, but I can tell you, like the Budweiser strain, they use the Tuborg strain, and that was part of actually Greg Casey's research. He was this is 80s, and they're talking about light beer specifically. That's kind of the basis of his project, and he determined that for light beers, the Carlsberg strain, which kicks the more flavor, kind of that rougher strain, was better for light beers than what the Tuborg strain was better for like full strength American lagers.
Huh.
Like the more flavor, I guess, like the sulfur and stuff that kind of made up for the lack of it in a light beer.
Okay.
But then once you got to like the full strength.
So they should actually be using a different strain for Bud Light than they would for the full strength Bud.
I can't speak specifically for them, but that was just kind of his, Molson had him doing this project to, I don't know if they were looking to introduce a light beer or something like that, but that's kind of where that project came from.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Wicked. Cool. Thanks for that.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye.
Do you guys use the same yeast in Grain Belt's Northeast, the amber version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same Grain Belt yeast.
Are those the only two beers that you use that yeast in, and all of the other Schell's lagers are the Deer brand yeast, or what do you do for
use
that?
The Grain Belt strain now, the Tuborg.
Oh, really? Okay.
Firebrick and
for Firebrick, okay.
Tuborg strain as well. Got it. Cool.
Well, I just blend them together, and I think it's the best beer I've ever had.
Makes sense. So you got the lager history in one glass.
Right. Yeah, real fast. Real quick, let me take a break here, but before we do... Great Fermentations, everybody. We talk about them on the show all the time. They have the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web, and their staff is some of the best trained in the business on using the Blickman products. So if you have a problem, just call up the folks at Great Fermentations. They will help you out. They offer top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. They are at greatfermentations.com. They're also all over social media at GR8 Fermentation, so Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So greatfermentations.com. Check them out. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Jace from August Schell Brewing. We're going to talk more lagers. We're going to talk a little bit about the prohibition history, and then we're going to keep drinking some beers. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com. Do you know the three most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, fertilizers, and more. 5 Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5 Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5 Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5 Star treatment today. Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association at craftbeer.com. Also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Hi, this is Tyler from Libertine Brewing Company in the Central Coast of California. You're listening to Brewing Network, The Session. It sucks. Does it suck? It sucks. But that's what's good about it, is that it sucks, right?
Hey, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I want to tell you guys about the free Brew Guru app. It's much easier to use than it is for me to say for some reason. Built for homebrewers and beer lovers, the Brew Guru app delivers sage brewing knowledge and money-saving deals at breweries, beer bars, and homebrew supply shops. The American Homebrewers Association designed this powerful mobile app to help homebrewers and craft beer lovers explore the wide world of beer that we all share. With Brew Guru, you can find deals and save money on beer, food, and brewing supplies. You can check out hand-picked articles, proven recipes, and trusted resources from the American Homebrewers Association and Zymergy magazine. And the most important part, Warren, is the powerful brewery locator to find those nearby breweries, tap rooms, beer bars, homebrew supply shops, and all those other kind of Johns. Wherever you are, Brew Guru will lead you to good beer. It's also free for the iPhone, iPad, Android devices. Learn more, homebrewersassociation.org.
I use that to get to work.
First of all, John's is a thing already. Second of all, I watched Rocky this weekend. It was we were up in like Shelter Cove, which is like north of Fort Bragg on the coast of California.
So the only thing there's to do is watch
The only
Rocky.
thing there to do is fucking watch Rocky, man. And
was it on the only black and white TV that was in the house?
It was on DVDs, but not Blu-rays.
Not in the house, in the bar.
Right.
There was one TV in the town.
You had to put quarters in to watch it.
Different kind of TV, different kind of booth to be in, but you know, and Rocky's from Philadelphia.
Yeah,
that's the John. That's where the word John is from. There was no use of the word John.
That's not a real word.
Well,
Rocky 1 through 4, no John at all, and I was fucking pissed.
That's because the word John came from New York.
No.
Philadelphia appropriated it from New York, and then you appropriated it from Philadelphia.
I appropriated it from my friend Jim.
Right.
I stole his culture.
Yeah.
He's like, my culture is not a costume. And guess what?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I'm wearing it.
I'm wearing it right now. All right, we're back with Jace here, and we're pouring some beer. The lovely Beverly, the I don't want to call you a beer wench because that's a stupid joke. What are you pouring us right now?
That'd be an upgrade.
What?
This is our Fort Road Hellas.
What are you doing awkwardly in Fort Road Hellas? Okay.
Nothing.
Everything's fine.
I think this was the first beer that I actually had in Minnesota at HomebrewCon.
Yeah, because we went to that lager festival.
We went to the unbeknownst to us, some like nice restaurant. It was like $50, like 5-inch high fucking steaks.
Yes. Yeah, Butcher the Boar.
That's what it was called. Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God, I didn't have any because I'm broke. But the food looked amazing, and we walk in and there was a long sheet. And it's Lagerfest 2017, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've landed in the motherland, dude.
Yeah.
I can't get. And it was just every fucking lager, every style represented, all done perfectly well.
Well, Justin said, "Hey, Beardy, you've been to Minnesota before. Where are we going?" And so I just saw Lagerfest, and that's where I decided we were going. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you very much for letting us be there.
I mean, I also wanted to drink beer, so we're going to Lagerfest.
Oh man, that's all I could talk about, man. And then even on the even in the airport, I was drinking a Helles on the way back. I was like, I think I might be hitting my point, but I don't care because I'm going to go back to the land of IPAs.
There won't be any when you get home.
Tell us about this beer, Jace.
Yeah, so this beer is something we're super proud about, and it's been it's 4 years in the making now.
Wow. You've been working on the recipe 4 years?
Well, it's kind of a longer story. I talked about base malt a little bit and how we switched varieties.
Yes.
We were getting the normal blend that we get our base malt from RAR. They're 45 minutes away from the brewery, so it's our local maltster.
Right.
Yeah. But we don't do a lot of hoppy beers, and so malt is very important to us as far as that's a
big part of the flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I think that blend was kind of geared towards American lagers, which we do make, but we also make craft beers, which is what we're going to start drinking now here. And so we just felt that it kind of lacked the flavor that we were looking for, and especially if you compare it to like German malts or European malts that have so much. Those Pilsner malts are just wonderful. And so we worked with them on like trying to identify a variety of barley that offers a little more flavor. And we settled on Pinnacle. Pinnacle was developed from the North Dakota State barley breeding program. It was introduced probably about 4 years ago. And it just has a cooler enzyme package, a low protein, and it just lends itself to a lower modification, and it's a lot more traditionally European, and that's something we strive for.
Okay.
So we switched our base malt to that, and then one of the things that we're facing as well is barley is getting pushed out of the United States. It's getting pushed north and west with corn and soybeans. All the barley acreage is leaving the United States. And
in favor of
alcohol production.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep. And we're in an agriculture area. I mean, if you come visit us, you'll drive through cornfields for 2 hours, and then you'll just drop down in River Valley, and there we are.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
it's really pretty.
So it was like, well, in Minnesota. We are right there.
Here, first of all,
she does this. She does this every week. It's fine. So you mentioned that you're looking for a lower modified malt.
Leverage.
Do you guys do step mashing in order to convert that?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep. But so kind of Minnesota used to be a major barley growing area. Probably kind of mid 1900s. Minnesota was where it was all grown, and now if you come see us now, it's all corn and soybeans. It's pretty much all gone. You have a little bit in northwestern Minnesota, but otherwise it's
because that's the cash. That's where the cash is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like it keeps them doing that move northwest. Like what was there is now in North Dakota, South Dakota.
And it's becoming a big problem for the industry, just because the acres aren't there anymore.
What's grown is grown in Canada or North Dakota. Yeah.
And so it's like, well, how do we bring barley back to Minnesota? And had this kind of very random chance meeting with what I found out to be the lead small grains agronomist from the University of Minnesota. I was at a sampling, it was a tap takeover, and here's this semi-drunk...
You were sober, of course.
I was giving out the samples, yeah.
He's actually a teetotaler. He never drinks. Yeah.
the guy from the Netherlands, and he made some smart-ass comment about American beers. And
you punched him in the face, right?
in the throat.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Literally you are.
Unbeknownst to me, like, I kind of came back and gave him a little history about, barley and stuff like that. And he's like, then he's just like, you could see that, like, didn't know what to think.
You shorted him out.
Yeah. Okay. And we sat there for the next 4 hours drinking beer and talking barley and all that stuff. Because he's the barley agronomist. He's the lead researcher for the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
And so it's like, all right, well, let's grow it in New Ulm. And it was like a challenge for him.
Oh, wow.
So we worked with Rahr Malting and him. And one of my best friends, their family farm has been around longer than the brewery has. And they're just outside of New Ulm. And, for the longest time when corn was $8, $9, $10 a bushel, he would just kind of laugh at me.
Okay.
And then the bottom fell out in corn. And it's like, all right, now we can talk.
Oh, okay. So the market changed.
Yes. So
to make it a little bit more feasible for you guys to do.
A lot of corn. Prices dropped, and now they needs to diversify.
Okay.
And barley has always been a risk because it's not an insured crop and it's not GMO. And so the yields are much lower.
Okay.
And one of the big problems is that it hadn't been grown in southern Minnesota for so long that all that knowledge, that experience knowledge,
how to do it,
just bring between your hands.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Farming's the same way; it's all gone. So they had to relearn it. He had to get equipment for it and everything. But 4 years in now, we've been growing. And this beer that we just introduced is brewed with 100% locally grown barley within 10 miles of the brewery.
Wow. Jeez.
That Rahr has malted for you.
It didn't work out with Rahr, unfortunately.
Oh.
Rahr is a large company, and we would love to work with them because they're so close to us. But we just didn't grow enough pounds for them to even do a single batch. We grew.
So they're a scale size.
They want you to have to fill the dryer.
Right.
So we grew 350,000 pounds, and that was...
And it was too small. Jeez.
Huh.
What do you have? How much do you have to grow?
400,000 pounds is like
you came almost there.
But then it's like, all right, that fills one silo for them. But it's like, all right, get it out, take it now. I was like, well,
exactly. Yeah,
that facility is insane.
It's massive.
So your grain silo is not that big.
No. No, we're actually our silos are massively undersized because they're way back in the day kind of thing. So
So who's your maltster?
Yeah, can you give a shout out to who malted it for you guys?
Yeah, Breeze did it for us.
Did it.
We're still working.
Great.
Yep. And so this can is from our latest brew, and this is the third maltings with Breeze. And they've, it's been a learning process for them too, because now they're getting a new product that they're not used to working with. And this one is extremely low in protein.
I was going to say protein content is probably one of the main things that they're looking for. They're looking for.
The malt protein content was 9.1%.
Whoa.
Which
what is that?
You're lucky to get a barley or a malt protein under
single
11.
Digit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, single digits.
Okay,
9 is almost
just like unheard of.
Yeah. But we like it, and obviously the product's going to vary. We had 2 different fields this year, or last year. One was at 10% barley protein, one was at 11, and so this was the first one that we blended the 2 fields. The one field with the higher protein was a smaller field, so we wanted to kind of save that and for them to kind of figure out how they're going to start malting it. So this is one we're really excited about, and it's got a really cool story. We get to work with a family farm that's works with us, and they get our spent grain back. They feed their cattle, and starting in November now we're going to have Schell's spent grain raised beef available in
Oh man,
so double loop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as many variables as there are on the brewery side of things, how was getting accustomed to now I get to determine how my malt is malted?
Yeah, so Breeze has been really cool. They did. We sent them a bunch of samples, and they did some pilot maltings, and we kind of their gold pills, which is like their Vienna malt.
Okay,
I was like, all right, can you try and make it like a gold pills? And obviously the barley variety that they're using for their gold pills is different than this one.
Okay.
So that was a new thing for them. They're using a little higher protein one, where this is a lower, so you get different Maillard reactions going on. So it's going to be a different, and we'll taste them side by side, and they're very different. And that's something we're going to, for each year, with each crop year, this last year we had a lot, and we're going to have to blend it in with next year's because we just got hit with a hailstorm, and it wiped out 50% of our barley field for this year.
Oh no! God.
golf ball size hail.
It was right before the homebrew conf, like about a week before, like just
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! If I had seen that in the news, I wouldn't have gone. I couldn't have made it.
I was
There's no
sitting.
way.
I was sitting on my in-laws' porch watching that hail. That was a nice show. Too bad it ruined your field.
Yeah.
It was really pretty.
It was really pretty.
It shows you why there's no crop insurance on barley.
Yeah, right.
You can get decimated like that pretty easily.
So how come with not like that wouldn't happen with corn?
The way, so corn also got just massacred, and if that field was a mile west, they got softball size hail.
Wow,
100% loss.
Wow.
So we'll still get something.
Yeah.
But if it would have been west a little bit, it was.
Does that happen from time to time? Is that normal, or is this the first time you've ever?
The weather
seen it?
seems to be changing. And I don't want to get political on it, but they'll even the farmers will tell you the first thing, like these types of storms never used to happen. So
Well, and isn't the whole crop insurance thing, and also it kind of goes into subsidizing too, in terms of whether farmers want to grow corn versus barley. Does the subsidizing affect whether a crop gets insured?
One of the things that, and I've learned a lot about farming too, is in the specific county where it's grown, that crop has to be grown for 3 years in a row before it qualifies for insurance.
Oh, okay.
This is the third year in that county.
So soon
he had hail insurance, but he didn't have crop insurance.
Oh, okay.
So he got saved on that.
My
end,
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean,
you got something out of it.
Yes, and we'll get some barley, and we are really happy with the product.
What was the barley varietal that's used? Pinnacle. That's what it was. Thank you.
And you make just this one beer with that.
Yeah. So actually, the first
so good.
Yeah.
The first batch that Breeze malted, they overkilled a little bit, so we call it our Salzburger malt. So it's not quite Munich, it's not quite Vienna.
Like all
in between. So we've been using that in some other beers. So we got 50,000 pounds of this overkill malt.
But did they give you a discount?
Nice. No. They're kind of doing us a favor.
No.
I mean, they are doing us a favor by jumping through all these hoops to malt our barley.
Here's a small batch of barley. Right. Oh fuck! Here we go. Here's Jace again. Yeah. All right. Well, this beer is rad, and I'm going to just say it. Like, if you're an American craft brewer and you want to make a Helles, go to August Schell first, please, and drink the beer to know how it's supposed to taste.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more about this beer. What I've used. Let's pretend that I know what I'm talking about.
20. Keeping it super low.
Okay.
We wanted to showcase the malt and definitely the story about bringing barley back, and we know this is going to be a learning process on growing it, brewing with it, and malting it. So it's got a little bit of malt sweetness to it, but hops takes a backseat.
Absolutely. A little bit of sulfur in the nose, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
The malt sweet is there, but it kind of fades away, and it's delicious, man.
Yeah.
God damn.
Do you guys use traditional German hops across the board? Or are you mixing up some new school German hops or even American hops?
Yeah, I really like the new German ones, but I love old noble varieties as well. So
okay.
What's the ABV on this one? As I get a beer boner,
5%.
God damn it. See, and so I've had like American craft version of the style that's like 6% and like super malty, and I don't understand.
It's not a Helles.
No, I know,
Right.
and I don't understand it. Like
heavy bodied.
And I don't know, not to be like a style whore or whatever, but if you call it a Helles, it should be a Helles. If you call it a pale ale, it shouldn't be 6%. It's that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's not a style whore. It's a stickler.
Yeah, but I think that's part of beer today. It's we kind of came up defining ourselves, defining styles, like being very rigid on styles, and then now suddenly that's out the door and open to interpretation somehow.
Right.
And I don't know where I fall. I guess
I don't see that
like
as a good thing if it's being not being held
misrepresenting.
to, because as a consumer you want to go like, oh, it's a Helles or it's a Bo Pils or it's a German lager. I kind of wouldn't have some idea what I'll get.
Right.
But if they're way out of style, then that's sort of a problem for the consumer.
And this beer's not that.
Yeah, like if it's a lager,
really
it should take more than 5 weeks to make.
I agree.
Otherwise, just call it a Pils.
Otherwise, it's an ale.
This beer is good, man. God damn. Thank you for bringing this beer. And
I wish I could have sent a keg down him.
Me too, dude. We tried, everybody. We tried. And I keep pressing the matter, but I don't know, man. a lot of the beer fans that we have these days, I own fucking 5 breweries, right? And each one of them is doing gangbusters, so I have a bunch of fans. But on the West Coast, a lot of the new craft beer fans, new in the last 5 years or whatever, oh man, West Coast, all the IPAs, you're so lucky. And all I want is this beer all the time.
Yeah.
And I can't get it. And that's, I guess, the
grass is always greener.
Yeah, I'm going to use a word that I don't really know the definition. That's the dichotomy of being. Did I use that right?
Maybe not.
Okay. Of being in the beer industry is because you can't. The grass is always greener, kind of a thing. Like I don't want most of the beer that we have on tap. Actually, one of the beers I would like is the Russian River Pale Ale, which is a 5.8% Pale Ale, which is not really. Nice. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Everything else I could care less. This is all I want. This Helles.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we aren't normal.
I know. And what is wrong with us, Jace? What's wrong with us?
Nothing.
That all we want is just lagers. Just well-made lagers.
I think Jace is right. Jace is onto something. Nothing is wrong with us.
Favorite guest.
Yeah. Guest of the year, right here.
Tasty, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. I was going to say there is one. I have a collab up there. I did with Central Coast. It's a Bow Pills.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, it's technically a lager, but it's one of those 18 days flame to glass beers.
Oh. Yeah. Why?
Because they wanted to make some money and had to put something else in the tank, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So how do you feel about lagers? So right now you're drinking lagers that are
have been
5 weeks and whatever. And so what do you think the flavor difference, if any?
Much better, but the average consumer wouldn't know the difference, at least around here.
Yeah. Do you think that's... And I almost don't want to ask this question because I don't want to seem like I'm picking on you.
No.
But in my world, you are kind of like the spokesman for the kind of fast lager thing, right?
Spokesman. It's something I know about.
Sure.
And I've passed it on.
But I'm saying, in my mind, because I don't get out much.
And the breweries that I've done it at,
right?
They're glad
they're happy with it.
It's great.
Yeah. Is that good? See, I don't want to say is that good. You know where I'm getting, and I don't want to. I don't want to phrase it like that because I don't.
Do you like muddying the waters like that?
If I was paying it forward to advance the craft beer, then I would be.
You know what I'm talking about?
By
yes.
Pushing good beers in the wrong direction.
Okay.
But it's more about the practicalities of commercial brewing and the fact that you like to do a Pilsner.
Yes.
This customer is starting to ask for them, but you don't have the tank time to make it. It's going to cost you money. So if you turn them around at the same time as an ale, then it's a moot point. That's all. Just an economy. It's a commercial thing.
Even though it's not
a Pilsner, you're just calling it that in order to sell it as a Pilsner.
It's a Pilsner because it's got all Pilsner malt ingredients. It's not a lager. I would not want to put.
Well, right, but a Pilsner is a lager.
Well, lager talks more about the technique, the brewing process.
Yeah, but it's also part of the style, right? The lagering method is part of the Pilsner style, right? And I don't know, and I'm not like criticizing. I'm literally asking because I don't really know for sure.
I don't know. We could call Germany because they're doing the same thing. They're
call Merkel.
Most of their beers are 3 weeks now.
Most of the what?
Yeah,
are you talking about?
They do a lot of that now. Sure, Germany.
What do you mean?
That's what they say. That's what I'm reading.
No,
here.
but who?
Who? I don't know.
Don't dodge the question. What do you mean? Like when you say that's what most of them are doing now? What do you mean by that?
Well, because, most
of the craft breweries
they don't have to do an extensive lagering.
But who's? You see what I'm saying? Who's they?
That's what I read. I don't have names. I'm just saying that it's
homebrewers
becoming a German practice. I've heard.
Okay.
They can probably do it under pressure and do other different variables as well.
Well, sure. I mean, they make sure that the product is, they have tastings and make sure that the beer is they're acceptable.
Panels and all that. True to brand.
If it's not working, they wouldn't do it.
I do know that a lot of home brewing is kind of going to trying to brew under pressure. I know More Beer has a product that they're coming out with, or I think it's out now, where you're fermenting under pressure to kind of
strain the yeast.
Yeah,
right. There's some lager yeast in particular that apparently will do really well under those circumstances. You can get that pressure exactly where you want it to get, and and suppress the esters.
Have you
get
guys,
that effect?
You can ferment warmer, and because of the pressure, you don't get the.
Have you guys messed around with trying to shorten lagering times at Shells? Jeez.
Our American lagers are a little shorter, and that's just more of the style. But our regular ones, we just kind of do it traditionally.
So you never tried doing a short lager or pressurized fermentation?
Well,
or anything like that?
all of them we naturally carbonate, so they're under pressure the whole time they're lagering.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
Because we don't have pressurized tanks, but they can hold 15 psi, and so we'll be 12 psi the
Sure.
entire lagering time.
Right.
And that helps with settling and brightening up the beer.
Sure, it's got a
and
color.
you also trap in natural sulfur dioxide. Whoa.
I just spazzed out. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Natural sulfur dioxide that's produced during fermentation, and that's a preservative, so you should have a better shelf life, actually.
That's below the flavor threshold, or if say it's not, that's okay. It's
Yeah, if you
acceptable in the style.
if you spoon them or cap the tanks too soon, you'll have an absolute sulfur bomb. So
Yeah.
you gotta,
Wow.
you want to keep it at. You got to know when it's going to finish, and then we go 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees Plato back from that. Is when we cap the tank.
You do a fermentation, forced fermentation.
Yep. So we do all rapid fermentations with the wort.
With 60 people on staff, is there always someone at the brewery to kind of keep tabs on where gravities are at in order to fund at
so
the right moment?
lab works 7 days a week.
Okay.
And they will monitor fermenters over the weekends.
Okay.
Yep. Great, Hellas.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's excellent.
It's really good. What's the next beer that we have?
Next beer is our Firebrick. This is our Vienna lager.
Firebrick. Oh, yeah. Man, I had a bunch of this at that fucking dive bar.
Yeah,
we went
beer's
to.
good. Yeah.
What's the name of that place? It was like it had like a Scottish-sounding dive bar name.
The dive
where
bar.
we met
Which one?
The guy who was running for mayor of Minneapolis.
Oh.
There was this dude. He was like he had a
Where was it?
box truck. Right, and we were just walking down the street, and I look over and I see this box truck, and the back was up, and there was like Christmas lights, like tiny Christmas lights at the top, and a couch and a desk, and there's an American flag on the thing, and I'm like, let's go sit in the fucking box truck. And
Hey, let's
everyone's
climb
like,
in there.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And there was a guy leaving, goes, yeah, go ahead, you can do it. I'm like, fuck it. Okay, so we go and sit in the box truck, and we're hanging out, and the guy comes back, and he's like, I'm running for mayor. I'm 26. I bought this box truck, and I take it around Minneapolis at night, and I just park it for like 5 hours at a time and just talk to whoever comes up.
When you and Sam climbed in there, I expected him to shut the door and hop in the cab and drive off, and we would never see you. Yeah,
Go, right. We got two.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to happen before I climbed in.
Total nice dude. Don't know his name. But there you go. If you're driving around Minneapolis and you see a box truck, it's okay. It's safe to go in.
All right, sounds good.
It's the one that doesn't say
Any
free
box
candy
truck.
on it. Yeah. But yeah, Firebrick is good, man.
Yeah, so this is our Vienna lager. We've made it since 1998.
1998.
This is kind of our flagship craft beer.
This is it. Okay.
Oh, flagship.
It just won gold.
Yep.
At the U.S. Open Beer Championship.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
The U.S. Open Beer Competition Championship.
Competition's not in there. It's the championship.
That's fucking, illustrious.
Silver at the World Beer Cup last year, gold the year before.
Do medals mean anything? Do you care too much, or?
We don't
be honest.
Get too hung up on it, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it's obviously it's great to win.
Sure.
Sure.
Do you ever hurt your elbow fist pumping too hard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
fuck, I got my quad all...
Oh, man.
They're listed as an example in the BJCP, so...
For this style?
Yeah.
Wow. Our Vienna lager tasted nothing like this.
Well, no, that's why this one wins.
No, this one's nice. This one doesn't have that much Vienna character.
We
Most
got
of
one
them
shot.
Have way too much Vienna malt character. This is nice.
Yeah, ours had the one we did a Vienna lager for Sierra Nevada Beer Camp.
Okay.
And we used like Huel Melon.
Yeah.
Which
is a nice hop.
Fuck, it was so good.
Yeah.
With the dark malts, I think it worked really well.
Yeah.
But this is much... Ours was heavy as fuck.
It was
man.
chewy. It was chewier.
It
There
was
was too much
chewy.
Vienna character.
Yeah.
Like McDowell's talking about.
Yeah, it was good. Don't get me wrong.
No, it was good.
But it wasn't this.
It wasn't this.
No,
This
it wasn't
is
this at all. This is
Right.
stellar.
Yeah.
How, and this may be a totally stupid question, but how traditional to the German beers are your beers? Like how in the same ballpark?
We do use, so this one has, we use Liberty hops, which is an American variety. I mean, not that a hop is a big character, but
yeah.
I do think there's a difference with noble hops, even if it's just bittering or mid-edition hops. That'll definitely lend something. And then the base malts. I mean, we're using all American malts versus all German malts or European malts. You're going to get differences. So this is going to be our American take on a European.
But like, within, 20%, right? Like if I went to Germany, if I could pretend I could travel that far, is this pretty much how a Vienna lager tastes?
I have not been to Vienna, so I guess I couldn't tell you.
Good answer. Wow.
But I hope so.
I just did an experiment at the brewery where I've done a Vienna lager twice, single infusion, and the current batch that's fermenting, I did a two-step, and it is fermenting dry. It's fermented faster. The gravity was dropping faster, and it's going drier than the previous 2 batches. Yeah. And so I was kind of curious what steps you guys do, because at least based on this experiment, it seems like step mashing can lead to making a drier beer, where I'd actually the saccharization temperature at the infusion was 147, and with the step mash I raised it up 2 degrees, and it's actually going drier for finishing gravity.
We do step mashes in all of our beers.
Okay.
Oh wow!
And I learned it in Celsius. So
okay, yeah. Celsius is fine. Yeah, we can do the math.
No,
later.
everybody convert. Give us Celsius.
So 62. We're gonna look this up.
Okay. 63.5 is 149, I believe.
That's a good beer, Nate. Right?
So 144
awesome.
we'll mash in.
Okay.
My favorite Schell's beer.
We'll go about 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll raise it to...
Do little calculations.
Yeah.
Beep, boop, bop, boop.
To 162.
Okay.
162.
And then we'll do a 20-minute rest there.
20 minutes, okay.
Yep, and then we'll mash out.
Okay.
Is it high? That feels high for not being a mash out, right?
Well, for a second, yeah.
He just took the mash out temperature.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of locking in everything at that point. Everything is done. All the things you wanted to happen have happened.
162, the enzyme, the conversion stops, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you still could have a little bit.
That's probably true.
No?
Yeah.
Then we'll raise to 172.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Right. That's what I thought. Okay.
So what is
okay.
the threshold?
So 162 doesn't seem
like
hot.
above 160.
I thought 160 when you right.
You're degrading them, but you're not shutting it down. It's not like a light switch where you just exactly.
You got beta amylase and alpha amylase.
The ones that can survive are going to work hella fast.
Exactly, they're getting shit done.
So at the lower temperature, we're at our beta amylase. That's the optimum temperature.
The other end of
at the higher one, you're at your alpha amylase.
Right.
And then we want to kind of stop that, but we're not denaturing with our sparge water. So we're sparging with hotter water than that, but it's not 180. At 180, everything stops. That's your pasteurization temperature. So it's whatever 178 is what we're sparging with.
Okay, so just a low saccharification temperature and then a really high one.
So how long does it take the RAM from 142 to 162? 144 to 162.
I think we do 10 minutes.
10, so it's pretty quick. So it's not like it spends much time in between.
Mm-mm.
So why the 162?
That's how the Germans do it.
So
Okay. All right. How long is a piece of string?
That's the way we do.
I feel like they just wanted 162 to be complicated.
Yeah, no, you're at the optimum. That's your beta amylase and your alpha amylase. Those are where they're most active.
Okay.
So you're getting the fastest conversion.
Both ends of
Yeah. Instead of picking some happy medium, they just give optimum for
I was
both.
going to chop it right in the middle, like super fast at that point. Like,
Right.
That's like the optimal temp for it, apparently.
How was this beer received? Pretty good, right?
It's our flagship, yeah.
It's your flagship, right? Wow.
Really, really good. So, so the base malt in this is the raw.
And then we obviously use specialty malts. And the one thing, steer clear of crystal malts. Use kilned malts. Crystal malts is where you get that heavy, kind of talking about the sugary.
Okay, we use a lot of those, I think.
Yep, and then...
so you use a little bit of roasted sort of malts to get the color in this beer?
Kilned, like Vienna's and Munich's. Steering clear of caramels.
But U.S. produced, not using any European versions of those?
All Breeze,
nice.
What's your boil like?
Everything's 60 minutes. We have an internal calandria, so we get a good evaporation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the darker? I mean, because it's it's a darker amber color or whatever,
we use
right?
kiln malts, yeah. So we use Vienna's and Munich malts.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're getting color from there.
Okay. Nothing darker than a Munich?
I would have to go and look exactly, but yeah, it's probably like a dark Munich.
Which is
I meant like nothing like a chocolate malt or a carafa or something like that. No, okay.
You're looking at me like you're like, fuck, that's where we messed up.
We did all of the things wrong.
We only used a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all
it was still good. It just wasn't a Vienna. It was something else.
Yeah.
Something in between.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're making a Vienna lager at an American, craft brewery known for, hop forward beers.
They had a killer base malt, though. One of those.
It was.
That thing was amazing.
Fuck, it was so good. I forget what it was called. Let's go back here a little bit, Jason. Talk about how you guys survived Prohibition.
Yeah.
I noticed I was reading an article or an interview with it was your dad, Tom, right? Is his name Ted? There you go, same thing. Yeah. This is a quote from the article, and then a quote from Ted as well. He says the brewery also got a license to brew non-alcoholic beer, or near beer, as it was known. Marty remembers his father telling him that the mark of a good near beer was how good it tasted when spiked with liquor. Quote, because that's what everybody did. And I thought that was a really awesome quote. And like a pretty right, it really does.
It just provided the mix.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They also mentioned the same article that you guys had a still going on during Prohibition to keep everybody sane is what the quote said.
If you visit our museum, you can see our still.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was my great grandpa's, and it towards the end he was getting nervous about getting busted because we did get raided in 1923. We got raided. We had they found full strength beer, and we had to go to court. And we argued that it was during the wintertime and it was slow and that the beer just naturally fermented higher.
Beautiful. Did you wink at me?
We're not good at what we do. It just happened.
And they bought it.
Yeah, they bought it. We stayed in business. Yeah. But the still is there. So he chopped it in half with an axe because he was he was starting to get worried. Yeah.
So the root beer story is not true. You guys just had a still, and that's how you guys got through Prohibition.
we made root beer, we made near beer, and we also made candy.
Okay.
Yep. And then we
just to keep everybody working, keep the machines going.
And prior to Prohibition, you had tied houses, which is common in Europe. We had a bunch of those, and we would sell a couple of those off every year just to make payroll, and then just more or less struggle.
Wow.
And wasn't there some sort of a lot of wood? There were a lot of acres of some nice trees that were sold off too.
That was during the 70s. Yeah, that was
during the 70s.
The other time when we were struggling. Yeah, kind of cyclical, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
a long time to be around, so things are going to change.
Sure.
So what he's referring to is, late 60s into the 70s. That's kind of we call it the consolidation period.
Right.
All the regionals, the family-owned breweries were getting pushed out by Bud Miller Coors. And I know you guys have talked about it on the show, and I have my own opinions about that.
I'm glad you mentioned
the buyouts.
I have another note here to talk about that. But go ahead.
And so we were struggling again, and to make payroll, my grandpa cut down black walnut trees that were on the brewery grounds and sold them for veneer to make payroll. He hadn't taken a paycheck in years, and that was how he kept the lights on.
That's amazing.
Employees.
That's crazy. So this article also mentions they say a wave of consolidation swept through the industry and all but wiped out small breweries starting in the 1950s. Mm-hmm. And that kind of struck me because I feel like we're starting to see that now, where we're having consolidation in the marketplace, specifically Anheuser-Busch buying small breweries and bringing them under their wing. And how is that? And you're smiling now, which makes me think that I'm not alone in thinking this, which clearly I'm not. But you know what I mean? It seems like this is just, here we are. Here's another cycle of consolidation.
So we started off with the two American lagers, right?
Yeah.
And subtle differences, right? I mean, they're big picture. They're craft brewing, especially today. They're very similar, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so back then you had a commodity product, more or less. And their game plan to put everybody out of business was by undercutting on price. Because when something becomes a commodity, it's 100% price driven. That's their game plan again. They're just buying all these craft breweries that they can commoditize. Yeah. IPAs and every single style.
Instead of brewing them in a 250 barrel fermenter, they're going to put it in a 1,500 barrel fermenter.
Yeah.
And not kill you on price. And even if they lose money, they don't care. They're bankrolled.
But they're not losing money. That's the thing.
Right.
They buy these breweries to let them operate independently, their base brewery, to keep their credibility, but they outsource all of their main products, and they take those national. And then they make the illusion of choice, undercut everybody by $2-3 a six-pack.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you crush craft beer again.
It almost sounds like history is repeating itself.
Absolutely. It's not a bad business strategy all the time. Yeah.
But I think what's different now versus then is you have, quality is a main driving point of craft beer, and freshness. Mm-hmm. And there's only so much you can do by shipping beer when you're competing with the brewery down the street and you're shipping that beer from mega factory, 5 states away. You're still working on freshness, and you'll always have that advantage in craft brewing is locality and freshness.
Right.
So how big of a check have you guys turned down
That's a good way to ask, Warren.
Yeah.
You're subtle as all fuck.
You have a very visible brand, and you'd be quite a trophy in there.
But that's not their game plan, and we haven't gotten anything.
As far as you know.
Right, exactly.
They want less than 10 years old, explosive growth in a region that is they don't have an existing brewery already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They want to have a local brewery in every major brewing region in the country.
Right.
That they can always have that local brewery there.
Yeah.
Wow. Fuckers.
Business.
Business. It sucks. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I thought that was an interesting point, and kind of just because there's a lot of people go, well, why does it matter? Who cares? Just drink good beer.
Well, and I would even say
it
that
matters.
A lot of small, the small craft breweries that make up the majority would even look at you guys at making over 100,000 barrels a year, and kind of it goes against what their marketing is in that you can't even compete with price.
And we don't.
On the shelf.
I mean, they undercut us all the time on our American lagers for sure. And
right.
I mean, we kind of battle both ends. Like we're battling the big guys and and craft brewing because they look at us as like we're one of them.
Exactly. Yeah, you get lumped in.
They are,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
how do you deal with that?
We're in 5 states. We're in Minnesota and just the border states. We want to keep our market local, and the population of those states is probably less than the Bay Area combined. But yeah, I mean it's the same thing everyone else is doing. I mean, you make a good product and you sell it to your local market.
Yeah,
and you guys are fine with that. Do you have aspirations to expand distribution?
No.
Okay. I wish you would.
Yeah.
I really do.
Maybe I'll ship a keg to you guys.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Fuck, that'd be good.
I mean, you guys have a strong local following.
Beer's best when it's fresh.
Yeah.
That's true.
What good does it do to us to send beer across mountain ranges?
Dude, I was in, like I said, I was up in the Pacific, in Northern California, on the coast there. And they had, I saw a 15-pack, the classic 15-pack of Founders. And I'm not trying to poo-poo anybody. I'm just saying it was a brewery name. It was a 15-pack canned in January, March. It was a stack canned in March of a blonde ale or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's fucking 4 or 5 months old, dude. I don't know about that. And there was a 6-pack of Scrimshaw from North Coast.
Right, down the road.
Bottled 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which do you think I bought, man? Because it's the freshness, and that's really what it is coming down to for me also. If I find a beer that's in my ABV range, which is hard to do lately, then the next check box to tick is fucking freshness.
But how many people are going to do that?
Well,
I think more people are doing that. But they're understanding that that's what matters.
Stack of 15 packs. I don't think anybody's buying them. I think more people are.
I like hoppy beer.
I
like hoppy beer, but if I showed up and I looked at that same date code, and there was no good fresh hoppy beer in the house, I would switch gears and think about something else. I would whatever beer was
well,
fresh.
Right, and
right?
I think the same amount of people
you'll even change what style of beer you were going to get if you find out everything else in the store was old.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. And I think that the people who care about that the most, the date codes, care about who owns what. I don't think that those two people are very far apart.
No, they're probably the same.
They're the same consumer. Yeah, they're basically in that same realm. They're thinking critically about that. Like maybe they want a local product just based on that idea alone, but above and beyond that, because it's probably the one that tastes better because it wasn't mistreated or stored warm,
and that consumer will know that. I think. I don't know.
I think the date code people is probably a larger pool because people also buy milk and understand
but people
freshness
didn't think
codes.
about beer like that yet. I think they're starting to more and more. Hopefully,
yes.
And what about vegans? You dick.
They don't have friends or buy anything.
They're too weak to make noises to speak to people.
I thought they just barter. Isn't that what they do?
It's really look. I got this natural patchouli oil. How much gas can I biodiesel? Anyway, what's the next beer that we have? It looks like it smells like a Hefeweizen.
Yes, this is our Hefeweizen.
Yeah, I'm so smart, Warren.
Wow, you know beer styles.
At least one.
Doc, you're a big Hef guy, right? You used to brew a lot of these, right?
Yep.
What do you think about this one? Tell me about it.
He also is allergic to everything right now.
I can't smell anything.
Yeah. I went out and used some nose spray, so I'm good now.
Oh, some powdered nose spray.
This
is really estery. It's just what I look for.
I mean, smelling it smells like the BJCP guidelines read.
Like the bananas and cloves?
Bananas, cloves.
But they're both really subdued.
They're both really subdued. They're in even amounts, kind of bready also. And one doesn't overpower the other. And it's like, literally, I go, there's banana, and then there's clove. And then there's some banana, and then there's some clove.
It's one of the best ones I've ever had.
Usually it's
so
in
nice.
the malt.
Yes, absolutely.
Banana cloves over.
It's a nice New England wheat beer.
You're fired, Warren. Okay. Here, Warren's fired. I turned him off. No, Jace, tell me about this beer, man.
Yeah, so
how long
this
have you been doing
Hefeweizen,
that?
and the reason I broke up Lagerfest.
Which, we're going to forgive you because the beer is pretty
important. So this was our...
We have to.
This beer was introduced in 1984, and if you go, I can show you this picture. It's also on our Facebook page, Schell's Brewery. This beer was brewed for the first time 33 years ago today. And this was the first wheat beer brewed in America post-Prohibition.
Happy fucking birthday.
And if you look on the recipe sheet, so talking about new hurts, our brewer didn't want to brew this beer because he just didn't want to do it. This is not how we make beer. And so we had to scratch out standard malt and he put in wheat.
He scratched it, yeah.
And then look at the hop addition on the bottom.
Let's see, hop pellets, 2 pounds of Cascade. And what is that?
16 pounds of question mark.
That's right. 20 pounds of Cascade, 16 pounds of question mark.
I don't even care to look. I'm not even going to. We're going to walk over there.
Salt and wrote dextrin malt. Scratched out caramel malt. Wrote Munich. And then he said, "I quit" at the bottom. Did you guys? Just kidding.
But yeah, it's a really cool story that I heard. And talking about Anchor Brewery, I met Bob Brewer. I think he's been on the show. He's iconic guy.
Yeah,
I met him in San Diego one year at a CBC, and he's like, hey, we'd always kind of promoted that we made the first wheat beer in America, and I remember at the time you guys came out at the same time, and I'm like, could you just do me a favor and go back and look at your brew sheets? When did you guys brew it?
Right.
And I snapped the picture and sent it to him. He's like, no way. He's like, we brewed it the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And it's like crazy coincidence. And I was talking with my dad. This was my dad's recipe. Breese had to make wheat malt. There just wasn't wheat malt available in the U.S., so it was a new product for them.
Wow.
And he smuggled in German wheat beer yeast from Bavaria.
Okay.
Like on one of his trips, he brought it back and gave it to us.
Wow.
So that's what we had to do to even make this beer. Wow. And it was originally a Crystal Weizen, and now we've moved it to an unfiltered version. But
that's awesome. Wow. So Breese had to make
clandestine.
Wheat. Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if Anchor got their wheat malt from Breese, and I wonder if Breese knew what the fuck was going on. Dude, we got 2 customers now for this.
Or if Breese made it for Shells and was like, where are we going to sell the rest of this? Hey, Anchor.
Fritz calls up.
Yeah.
Because in '84 there wasn't many breweries, so
no.
Hey Fritz, you like money losing stuff? You want to try this idea?
Yeah.
We got this new grain.
Yeah, sell a couple more dryers, dude, and fucking buy some wheat malt.
Yeah.
You dick. I'm just kidding. Fritz is a nice dude.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. This is dude.
Pretty cool to have it on this day too.
Yeah. This is a great. It almost smells like a wit beer.
Maybe we
to
need
me.
to, no,
You used to know styles really well.
Oh, okay.
We needed to give Anchor a call. Have a big old party.
Let's get him on the phone, man. I don't know. Am I wrong on that? I guess maybe I'm wrong on that.
No coriander or orange.
Yeah, there's no spices.
No spices. But
there's no mouthfeel thing.
But in I guess it smells like a wheat beer in as much as it's so floral and so pungent in the aroma that I wouldn't have. I mean, I don't have enough history with this style, the German Hef. But for me, a wheat beer that smells like this is a wit beer. Because it's so in your face, not in your face, but it's pungent and it's right there, and you don't have to work hard for the smells, and everything is kind of up front like that.
They're sourcing the yeast and treating it really well to get this great aromatics out of it that balance with the rest of it. Is this one that you treat in the brew house in a similar way in terms of generations, like going a long time, or is this one going to say it's probably pretty short?
2 generations,
2, and that's it.
Yep.
That's what matters.
They're completely different pitch rates,
and they're not pushing that to 5 to try and save cash, and it's obvious because it has a very specific ester phenol profile,
man.
Right?
So a third generation would be completely different. The yeast would just
we start over.
Mm-hmm. What happens on your third?
It's just there's a reason all the Germans top crop is that the yeast is very unstable.
Okay.
And this even in the shelf life of this bottled product, the yeast just deteriorates so quickly. So that's why they top crop. They're always getting that first generation every time. It just breaks down multiple generations.
And so do you always ferment it in the same shape of fermenters? Because geometry would impact the flavor also?
And it's just 100-barrel fermenter. That's our normal fermenter.
Oh, okay.
What's your fermentation program like on this?
It's quick. I mean, it wants to go fast, and taxes are cooling.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the exact temperature, but it's a quick. It's probably 4 days and it's done.
Jesus.
Yeah.
In 100 barrel. Wow.
And then we still lager for 2 weeks.
Wow. This beer would
you probably sell more of this in the summer than
yes. It's a seasonal product.
It's a seasonal product.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah.
Seasonal. Okay.
How stable is the
finish that
yeast/haze in the beer? Does it settle out pretty quickly on the shelf, or
it does dry? It flocks. I brought the beers in a suitcase, so they got all shook up, so it's nice and cloudy. But yeah, you definitely get that compaction in the bottle. That
you just got to rouse it a little bit.
Swirl it, rouse it, do it.
This would get me into drinking wheat beers, dude. I mean it. This is a great beer. It's a solid beer, man.
Well, thank you.
You wish you had it earlier when it was 103 degrees outside.
Really do.
Well, luckily it's still 99 degrees outside.
So we're good. And here it's 74.
Yeah,
so
it's nice.
It's kind of our little cocoon. It's our little John. Okay, we're going to take another break.
Speaking of John.
Here, speaking of Johns. I didn't know I had. Oh shit!
You have a live read.
Let's read it fast.
Yeah, I have 10. I wonder if Jace would read our Adam and Eve live read.
Oh, have you heard of Adam and Eve before? If not, we have a live read for you.
Yeah, new hurts. Well, let me tell you about Adam and Eve's.
Not with
new product line.
They have a loop for that.
It doesn't have to hurt.
Yeah.
New doesn't have to hurt. AdamandEve.com.
Oh.
God.
They're going to drop their sponsorship.
They would go out of business.
Could that be a new Stag Series beer? New doesn't have to hurt.
Speaking of things you didn't know, Tasty. If you didn't know, new hurts sometimes.
No.
Speaking of things you didn't know, did you know White Labs added 16 new strains to the vault for home brewers? Did you know that?
I knew they were opening up the vault, big time.
But you didn't know they added 16 new ones.
No, I didn't know that.
Brand fucking new. Visit whitelabs.com/the vault. Place a pre-order for one of the strains, and once it hits 150 orders, which I think is like down, wasn't it like 250 before?
Yeah. They're much more aggressive in that program.
Yeah, that's good. You'll get the strain shipped right to your door. Now you can purchase specialty strains from the vault straight from homebrew shops. 2 different pre-selected strains will be available at retail locations every 2 months. This way there's no wait for pre-orders to hit. Just visit your local homebrew retailer and pick up the strains. Keep an eye out for WLP 616 Funky Cider Blend and WLP 059 the Melbourne Ale Yeast, which will both be available during July and August. And they put an exclamation point in parentheses after that last part, so it could be exciting or it could not be. I think it's up to my interpretation.
And which is it today?
Balanced.
Oh.
Yeah, moderate excitement.
Okay.
I'm excited about the funky cider, though.
Funky? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm excited about some Berliner Weisse. That's coming,
cider.
right?
Sure, why not? It's The Session, everyone. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to bruise their vast selection. With over 20 years of experience making world-class craft beer and more than 100 gold medals in international competitions, Moylan's Brewing Company is not just a pretty face in craft beer. Just ask Brendan Moylan.
What do we got here? The beer of the hour. Moylan's, gotta love that big M. It's like a sign of awesomeness. Woo-hoo! It's got an extra kick to it. Let's pour this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, Moylan's. The end of the night when the kids are finally in bed, the wife's in bed, nobody's bothering your ass anymore. That's Moylan's time. Moylan's is for you. Yeah. It's to help you out. Yeah. It helps me out.
What?
Well, because it's freaking awesome. Northern California brewed. It's brewed with love.
With love?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. And it's always best where?
Moylan's.
You gotta try it. On tap at Moylan's in Novato. They're friggin' awesome. Not only because I own the brewery, because I love the beer.
Cheers!
Boom.
Kilt Lifter Scotch Ale takes big beers to a whole new level with rich malt balanced perfectly with delicate hops, and now comes in 4-pack tall boy cans so you can take the party on the go. Or come to the brewery, take a tour, and try any of Moylan's fresh creations right from the source. Check them out at moylans.com.
BN Army, have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grain Fathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey guys, what'll it be?
I'm not sure. What do you recommend?
A lot of people seem to like the Hefeweizen.
Is that a German Hefeweizen or more of an American-style wheat beer?
I'm not sure, but I can give you a taste.
Okay, great.
The Cicerone Certification Program certifies and educates beer professionals in order to elevate the beer experience for consumers. Unfortunately, not every bar is staffed with certified beer servers who can guide their customers through a beer list.
Here you go, guys. Let me know what you think of the Hefeweizen.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely more of an American meat. But I can hardly tell because this beer just smells like sour butter. I wonder how long it's been since they cleaned the draft line.
Yeah, and look at the bubbles on the side of the glass. It's filthy.
Somebody should tell these guys about the Cicerone program.
For sure. How about we head somewhere else for another beer?
Your server should give beer the same respect you do. Request quality. The Cicerone Certification Program offers 4 levels of beer certification, in-person classes, and course books for beer professionals. Check them out at cicerone.org. The Cicerone Certification Program. We know beer.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. Beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
This rejoinder sounds like just a very bad intro to a rap song.
Well, to me, this is the Adam and Eve live read intro.
It should really. Maybe that's what it's for.
Oh, it's a reminder.
Yeah, it's a reminder to do weird porn reads. I was trying to find a segue for that, but I can't do it. If there are... Let's see, where is it? Do you like cooking with craft beer, Doc? I'm sure you do.
Yes,
you got
I
to check
do.
out the recipes on craftbeer.com, which I did not know they have recipes. So this is news to me. We're learning together, folks. Craftbeer.com, published by the Brewers Association, offers the most comprehensive collection of craft beer-based recipes on the web. It's really something to behold. You can search and sort by recipe, or excuse me, you can search and sort recipes by course and beer style to find the perfect menu item, such as breakfast stout French toast stuffed with bourbon cream cheese frosting.
Wow, so you're drunk at breakfast?
So you're fucking
Who's
wasted
not?
at breakfast, I think. Right. If you're doing it right, Warren, you're drunk during breakfast.
Right.
Yes.
That's what breakfast is for.
Breakfast stout French toast. That sounds pretty good, dude. Head to craft and anything with bourbon. I mean, you had me at, that's great. Head to craftbeer.com to search the craft beer cooking recipes and pairing ideas. I'll be doing that. Let me make my note. Warren, what was your Twitter game? Just to remind everybody.
It was, what is Justin going to forget to do for the grand opening at the Hop Grenade in Fort Collins on Saturday?
That's right.
Put some paper towels in their bathroom.
Right.
I think that they are. I heard that they are. Because
how about music?
Are they going to have the Dyson blade?
I don't know. I think
there?
that's what they may have both. Because the problem, I'll tell you what the problem here is. You get 3 or 4 dudes in the bathroom. You're each waiting with wet hands, and they're waiting for the single hand dryer. Yeah. If you're not going to have paper towels and a hand dryer, at least have 10 hand dryers.
You can go 3 wide doing your job, but you're going to go 1 wide getting out of it.
Right.
What if you guys just put all 3 of your pairs of hands in the dryer at the same time?
And rub each other's hands.
It'll be like, what was that music video? Nate, you would know. It was like some weird kind of rap thing where it's like some dude in a chair and like rope would get tied around his face and like hands would be all over him.
I don't know. I didn't see this one. No,
it was like
it could be like that.
It was like
kind
a
of
YouTube
thing.
video
Could be that
or
creepy.
Something. Yeah, but you just like rub your, on the hand, the blower where it gives you the diagram of how to like push your hands together to like rub your hands.
Because you need instructions at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be like that, but like you and I would rub our hands together while me and Warren would rub our hands together.
Wet, sweaty hands in the bathroom.
Well, the friction
would
help.
Do an Adam and Eve read.
Oh, man.
Bev, you don't want to leave. You want to be in on this.
Yep, she does. She came back in.
No, she did. That's right. All right. Well, no, she
left better.
Again. All right, we're here with Jace from Schell's Brewing, and what are we drinking, Chase? Jay, I almost called you Nate for some reason. I'm wasted. What are we drinking? Because these do not look like lagers to me, dude.
They're not lagers. Shifting gears again. These are Berliner Weisses. This is our new for us program. This is our Noble Star collection, and what we like to try and do is obviously focus on German style beers. But we also like to use our history in new ways and try to incorporate that in different ways. And where this program started is actually in 1936. Right after Prohibition, we are broke, but there's a huge demand for beer, and so we needed to add capacity quickly and cheaply. And we did that by putting wooden tanks in the brewery instead of steel tanks. We'd already starting turn of the century converting everything over, but couldn't afford to them. And we had this cellar that was 2 stories underground, and we had Dunk Tank Works out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, build 10 cypress wood lagering tanks, 145 barrel capacity each. And this was a way for us to add a lot of capacity quickly. Right. And we used these tanks from 1936 until 1991. Part of our regular production process. We were making our Deer Brand beer in it.
How do you sanitize a wood lagering tank?
Jason's laughing before you even finish the question.
serve it quick.
Yeah. right. Turnaround.
Yeah.
I like hot water is the answer. Right?
Yeah. Well, they were Cypress. Cypress is neutral flavor. It doesn't have that strong, flavors that you get from oak, those nice vanillins and everything like that. And we pitch line them. So once a month or so, a brewer had to climb in there with a bucket of molten wax and a blowtorch, and we would torch the side of it, scrape off the old pitch, and then paint and brush on new pitch.
Oh.
And that's how you reseal the tank.
Wow. Sounds fun. Yeah.
But to answer your question, you can't.
Oh, okay.
Is that why they were lined? Because it was easier to...
That was as good as you could get.
Okay.
It minimized the contact with the wood, and then, hot water, like you said, tasty.
Okay.
But we were probably making sour beers.
Oh, okay.
Unintentionally.
You said till 91?
Till 1991, yeah.
Oh.
So
how did you control temperatures around those tanks?
To this day, our lagering tanks are all room cooled.
Because you chill the room.
Yep, so the whole room is cold.
Okay.
And the beer would go in cold, and it would just stay cold, more or less. Not ideal. And actually, the last beers we were making in there, you guys remember Pete's Wicked Ale?
Yeah.
So,
you were making Pete's?
You made Pete's?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were, in the 80s and early 90s, we were doing a lot of contract brewing.
That's right, you said
that. Was
okay,
our biggest contract, but we did like SLO, Schlafly, Three Floyds.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of
big names, man.
Well, and at the lagering phase, there's not a lot of heat generated, right?
No. I mean, the fermentation stopped. It's cold, so it's more of just
pretty stable.
Yeah. Okay. At that point. So 1991, we stopped using them. 2 years later, we pulled 8 of these tanks out, put them in a dirt floor shed, and replaced with stainless steel tanks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were my dad just couldn't bring himself to throw them away. Was the only reason we kept them.
Okay.
And we left 2 in the brewery just in case. They were like backup tanks. Never had to use them, so they
Thank
sat.
God.
Yeah, thank God.
So did you ever have to re-pitch one of those things
to line them?
to paint?
I never
had to do that.
Got to experience that. No.
Got a break there.
Yeah. I was talking
all
to
the less for you.
Talking to one of the brewers one time. He's like, "Yeah, I remember going that. We'd go in there and you'd finish, and then it's just kind of nice and warm in there. So I just lay down and take a nap." Because you're in there by yourself and no one else is around. So
Right.
I was very thorough with my pitching.
He's the best. Call Brad. He's the best.
Right, yeah.
He takes an hour, but goddamn, it's good.
Yeah.
You've done it good.
Yeah.
Did you fire him?
When he told you that?
No. Well, I mean, at that point, it's
firing.
30 years after the fact.
Still, profit never sleeps.
Yeah. So we have these 2 tanks that are sitting now in a cellar.
Okay.
And then eventually that cellar becomes, we just stopped using it. We put shitty dairy tanks in there.
Yeah.
And kind of fast forward to 2008, and we're coming up on our 150th anniversary in 2010. And we thought it'd be really cool, like, hey, let's try and restore one of these tanks and make a brew with it again. But at that point, they've been in a cold cellar, dry for 20-some years.
Okay.
I could stick my fingers through the gaps.
No, it shrunk that much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the rings are all in tough shape, and the way it kind of got started was this a barrel company, the Barrel Mill in Avon, Minnesota. They came down and they're selling laser etched barrel heads. They're like, oh, these are cool, but are you guys real Coopers? Like, yeah, we actually do make barrels. And like,
are you ready for the most challenging project in your entire history?
Yeah.
Not just real Coopers, insane Coopers.
Yeah. It's like, well, can you come look at something? We got an idea. And we take him down there and we're like, whoa, the guy's just lights up and he's loving it. And he's like, well, we want to use it. He's like, are you serious? It's like, well, and he gives us some pointers, like, all right, you got to level the rings and you got to rehydrate and stuff like that. And we have all the old tools, so we go in the museum and just pull the tools back.
You went to the museum. That's how old these things are.
Yeah.
Is the tools to make them were on display.
Yeah. So we get the hoop driver and we'd start leveling them out and just stick a hose in the tank, and we didn't know what we were doing, so we just stuck a cold water hose in there, and every couple days, turn it back on again, it would just flood out, and after a couple months, all of a sudden it starts holding water on the bottom, and then slowly starts creeping up, and we would saran wrap, like we use pallet wrap to hold the water in.
Okay.
All right. Saran wrap the outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and slowly but surely, we closed the door finally, and it by the time it got full, we'd kind of missed that window for took like a year to get it to rehydrate.
You closed the door to the room and just flooded the room?
Yeah, right. That was easier. Yeah. No. But we finally got it to hold. And it was, fully sealed. And by that time, the 150th anniversary had happened. We kind of moved. You were talking about Hoffman malts. That was our anniversary beer instead. And then I left for brewing school. And now we have this fully swelled tank. And it's like, well, hey, we can use these for something else. Like, we were just going to make like a regular lager beer in it. It's like, well, Rodenbach's tanks look just like these. And there's this old, weird, obscure German style of beer called a Berliner Weisse. And it's, you kind of research it and like, well, these are kind of the similar thing. Like, let's make Berliner Weisse instead of, lager beer in it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of made that my little personal side project when I was in Berlin to learn as much as I could about that style. And it is more or less dead in Berlin as well. Now there's some crappers that are doing it, but then nothing. And Kurt Marshall was one of my teachers, and he's someone that helped me out immensely, and someone I have the most respect for. And he kind of really helped me along with learning how to make this style of beer and working on strains and stuff like that. And so when I came back, drained it, cleaned it, and we had to remove the pitch somehow. And so we hired a dry ice blasting company, which is like sandblasting but with dry ice pellets. And a crew of 3 people. And it took them 2 days. They had to climb in there with a guy tied to a rope in like this Arctic snowsuit because it's negative 117 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
And it's all CO2. So if he
breathes,
he has a mask on,
respirator. A respirator suit. But if he tips over, the other guy's got to drag him out of there.
Got to drag him out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And they completely stripped all the wax out of there.
Wow.
And so we got that done, and then I had to go in afterwards, and because they were learning too, they'd never done anything like this. And,
how the fuck do you find somebody like that? Like, how do you go? How do we get this pitch out of here?
Oh, yeah, my great grandpa used to do this.
Yeah,
it was.
They're like, you want to use this tank for what?
Yeah.
I was just doing a bunch of research online, and I saw that you can rejuvenate wine barrels with this dry ice blasting process, where they will strip out the a thin layer of it.
Yeah,
now you get rejuvenate the wood.
Yeah.
And so then I Googling around, and there's this company in Prior Lake, Minnesota called Midwest Dry Ice Blasting of all.
Wow.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
And called them. They came down. They specialize in fire damage restoration. So it's a really minimally abrasive process. They can restore old brick and wood and stuff like that. And
they'll do attics that have been and that way it's not wet or
everything evaporates.
Right.
Yep. And they looked at it and were like, "Sure, we can do that.
Take a challenge."
Yeah. And he bought some pieces of cypress online, and he waxed them himself, and then he blasted them, and it just showed us I think it'll work. So all right,
cool,
knock yourself out.
Yeah.
And so they stripped it down, but they had some rough spots, so we sanded them down, and I got this nice, smooth, clean tank. We went through a winery sanitation program to kind of clean it as best we could, and then we brewed a sacrificial beer into that tank, and we let it sit there for 4 months, and nothing happened. Perfect. All right, drained it, cleaned it again.
So as a test batch.
Yeah.
No fermentation happened, or nothing bad happened?
We didn't know what was going to. Nothing bad happened.
Did you pitch into it? It was just wort, or
it was just a regular beer.
Okay.
And we let it age in there. We dumped it afterwards, but it was kind of one.
Just get the newness out of the barrel.
You were
we just wanted to see what happened.
See if it would sour, essentially.
No, not even the sour. Just what kind of flavor is going to get from it. Like, is the tank got so much contamination in it already that it's just going to go bad on its own?
Okay.
So,
what did it taste like?
Nothing. Just like the same. And it was like a beer that we had. It was screwed up, and so we were going to either dump it anyway. So we just put it in there,
transfer it to the tank, because why not?
Diluted it way down. We just made it like a low alcohol beer, and so it was bad going in anyway. But nothing happened. So drained it, cleaned it again, and we brewed our first Berliner Weisse into it. And so we do mixed culture primary fermentation, ale yeast and lacto, and then we go into the wood tank with Brettanomyces. And the beers that we produce age anywhere from 6 months to 2 years.
Wow.
With Brett. And so we started with that first original tank, introduced the first beer called Star of the North in 2013. That was a traditional take on a Berliner Weisse. Brewed a couple more beers, and then we restored the second tank. We kind of learned a few things along the way, so we sped up that process.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we were making beers out of those 2 tanks. And the cellar that it was in, you said you were down there. It was a challenging cellar to work with.
Sure.
To put it nicely. So we built a off-site production facility, or it's called the Star Keller, and that is our new sour brewery. And we pulled the other 8 tanks out of storage, restored those. Now we have 10 tanks that are all being used for our sour production, all built in 1936.
Wow. And they're 150 barrels apiece?
145 barrels each.
Wow.
And so primary fermentation happens in stainless at the main brewery?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
No, not at the main brewery, at our new sour. So we brew everything at the brewery, and we truck it over the wort, and we ferment. We do this modified split fermentation. And I gave a talk at the NHC about kind of our production process, but we do primary in 2 different vessels, and then we blend the 2 into our wood tanks, and that's where we pitch Brett.
Are the lacto and the Saccharomyces separate in the primary fermentation?
When we first started, we were doing a split 50-50, 1/2 just ale yeast, 1/2 just lacto, and that was because of just what we had to work with. We didn't want we had this abandoned cellar with 1 stainless tank that was still usable in the wood tanks, and so, but that tank couldn't do the full batch.
Okay.
So we could do about half of it. So we did a split, half with the ale yeast, half with the lacto, blended the 2, and they would finish each other out. The ale yeast would ferment out the lacto, and the lacto would sour the ale yeast.
Okay.
Kind of thing. We've since kind of modified it to now we do an 80-20, like a mixed fermentation, ale and lacto in the 80% of the batch. The 20% is our acid booster, as we call it. We just ferment that with lacto.
And you'll kind of blend it to taste, to kind of,
it's more the strain we're using. All our strains are from extinct East German Berliner Weisse breweries, and the lacto strain is it's a brevis strain that is wonderful, but it's very slow, and so we kind of treat that as a booster to kind of speed things along. Not that it even does that, but we're trying to build lactose cells because it's so hard to prop that.
Okay.
It's stronger, so you don't have to wait for the other to eventually show up.
Yeah. So we're going into these wood tanks barely under 4 pH. So it's just starting to get sour, and then all of its souring happens in the wood, and then Brett is also doing its thing where we're getting the aroma and the dryness of the attenuation factor.
And then how long do you age it in the wood?
So the first beer we can actually
let's drink it right now.
So the one we have in front of us is Galactic Collision. This is an example of a traditional Berliner Weisse. It's just different than the Star of the North, the first one we did. This one is the first one that we did with that kind of modified 80-20 process. And this beer aged for 10 months in wood. We used, like I said, our brevis strain. We also co-pitched with a Pichia strain, which is a
Pichia
non-Saccharomyces wild yeast, and it just produces a bunch of esters. We wanted to see if we could push the ester profile in a different direction. So with this beer, I get a lot of cider and pear.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. But very dry. Again, it aged 10 months. We used a Brett Glaceni strain, which I think gets more of that kind of tropical. But then with that Pichia, I think it morphed it more into like pear cider, like I said.
Very fruity.
But very dry, very fruity, like you said.
Super pear.
But not overly tart. This is,
no.
If you get like total acidity, we're at a 0.5 and a 3, 4, 5 pH. So not super tart. We strive for balance in all of our sour beers. We don't want anything super acidic. It should be about drinkability.
It's not supposed to be. Right. This is a style that you shouldn't actually have all that.
Right. No, using the acidity to enhance the flavor to make it more pop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Classic Berliner Weisse is not what you would associate with the common American sour
or even
level
American
of acidity.
So it's barely tart.
Yeah, and that's something I talked about in my NHC presentation. And I was looking at the old production methods, and kettle souring was a method that was championed by one brewery in 1908. It's called the Franca method.
Okay.
They were the only brewery to ever do it, and then they stopped. But it got a lot of, it was written about because it was a unique process.
Yeah.
But never really took off.
And they even switched from doing it.
or went out of business, one of the other.
Okay.
Yeah, or both.
So kettle souring
only
is
like rolling the dice so many times.
So kettle souring is based off of, U.S. production is based off this method.
Right.
But they're trying to achieve the flavor profile of Berliner Kindle, which is they do a different method that is considered non-traditional. This is Barak method where they do the split fermentations like what we do, but then they sterile filter or pasteurize it to lock in the acidity, and they never ferment with Brettanomyces.
Right.
So you have these two different a method that was never used, trying to achieve a profile that is not traditional, and that's become the de facto style of what Berliner Weisse should be.
Okay, sure.
So the style is confused.
Welcome to craft beer.
Yes.
Yeah. Hope you enjoy your stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason Berliner Kindle is like the survival, like the lowest common denominator is the one that is still around today.
Okay.
Like all these breweries, like, consolidation, whatever, it came down to them, and they're the one that were doing it the untraditional way. So like the last one that was doing it the traditional way was Schulteis. And they do this, mixed fermentation, fermented with Brett, aged for a year, bottle conditioned for 4 months afterwards. It was a very long process to make a 3.2% alcohol beer.
Right.
And then in Germany,
Probably
they add raspberries and woodruff and a bunch of stuff to cover up all those flavors,
Yeah,
right?
well, no, so that syrup, that was kind of a touristy thing, and Berliner Kindle designed their beer to be drank with the syrup.
Huh.
So they make it over-the-top acidic without any aroma, so you could dump syrup in it and get this sweet, sour thing going on.
So essentially what we know as Berliner Weisse was not traditional at all and geared just to basically a syrup delivery machine.
Yes. Alcopop.
Okay. Ooh, the first fucking Zima, dude. First Bartles and James.
Wow. Those Germans know how to do...
They're forward thinking, man.
Yeah. They know how to do what they do.
So would you say you're more the traditional way then, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we try to as much as possible and with aging in wood for long periods of time. And if you go like on our Facebook page, The Star Killer, it's our tap room that opened up in March. You sit right in between all 10 tanks, and it's really dimly lit.
Wow.
It's like a speakeasy kind of thing.
We gotta go. Let's go right now.
Yeah. I'm flying back with Jace. I don't know what you're doing.
I'll be his check on.
Yeah. Do you guys, if it's aged in 10 months, do you guys do any temperature control in terms of the room?
Yes, so we keep the room at 60 degrees.
Oh, okay.
And that was, I toured Rodenbach, and I asked them what temperature these tanks are, and they said 15 Celsius. I'm like, perfect.
I can make that happen. Yeah. Okay. So they don't see the summer to winter fluctuation.
No, and even in
bit?
the old cellar, it was pretty constant.
Okay.
And that we tried to. It was more heating it than cooling it because it was
in the winter
cold cellar. Yeah. So when we went to this new place, we have a temperature room control to keep it.
What's your grain bill on this?
So we use again lots of shout outs to Breeze. We get they custom malt a chit wheat malt for us. So we get something that's super high in protein. It's knocking around 14.5% protein.
Wow!
And they do a 2-day malt, so it's highly under modified. It's bordering. It's the German Reinheitsgebot, right? You got to have malted barley,
right?
You're trying to almost mimic what Lambic brewers are doing with raw wheat, but it's just malted for a very short period of time.
Okay.
So tons of dextrins, a lot of protein left because especially our lactose strain is highly proteolytic. It just chomps through proteins, so we're trying to save as much for foam stability at the end.
Okay.
So we use a highly undermodified wheat malt, and then it's a super simple 2/3, 1/3, 2/3 wheat malt, 1/3. We use chit barley malt as well.
So what is chit barley malt?
Undermodified.
Undermodified. Okay.
It's just starting to grow, like
it's just starting to sprout or whatever.
Yeah, it's just starting to sprout.
Germinate?
I think it's cut essentially. Like,
and because if you had a lower protein content malt, then the Brett and the Saccharomyces would consume all that stuff, and there wouldn't be much left for the slow lacto that you guys use.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a common problem in sour beers. Is like foam. They pour them, and you just have like that soda pop foam where it's just gone.
It's gone, right?
And that's because depending on the strain you're using, it's really protolytic, and the temperatures like kettle souring, and even like with us in fermentation, when you're above a certain pH range, that lacto or Brett strain will just chomp through all that protein, and you have nothing left for foam stability.
Oh, so the pH of the beer can affect what proteins the Brettanomyces.
Yeah, you have a range
on?
of where it's highly active, and you can get it below outside of that active range.
Okay. So using other bacteria, you can affect how the Brettanomyces impacts.
Yeah, and we could use a different strain. Like Delbrachia, I don't think has that same gene, where the proteolytic enzyme, and I don't think you'd have the same problems. It's just that strain that we're using is highly proteolytic, so we have to kind of jump through some other hoops.
Interesting. Well, it's working.
This beer is great.
Yeah.
I mean, for just kind of, I don't know, Berliner Weisse, to me, What am I trying to say? It tastes fruited.
Mm-hmm.
That's how big the pear is.
Yeah.
But there's wood too. That part that survives.
There is, yeah.
It's
kind
pretty
of like
cool. It's like subtle, but it's
almost like a neutral tannin-y kind of a thing. It dries it out. But I would swear like there's some sort of pear essence or something like that in the beer. Yeah,
it's an ester for sure.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So how many times has say for instance the barrel this may have been in, how many times has that been used? I mean, these are getting pretty. These have some turns on them now,
So
right?
this specific beer was the first time brewed in one of the 8 tanks that were restored.
Really? So it's a virgin.
So I think that little bit of wood character you're getting,
It's nice.
is we probably won't get the second time around because it was freshly dry blasted.
Gotcha.
But the flip side of that, everybody wants in craft brewing or consumers, they want to age sour beers, right?
Right.
You got to sit on them for 10 years and bring them out and do a vertical.
No.
But when you're making Berliner Weisse and 3.5% alcohol, that doesn't lend itself well for aging.
No.
So we Whirlpool Oak our sours for tannin extraction.
Okay, what do you mean?
Because tannins build body and longevity.
Sure.
It's borrowing that from like winemaking, where they
that structure, that long term.
Yes. So they will primary ferment on oak chips or something like that. You get that oak extraction. All those wood sugars are consumed by the yeast, but you're left with tannins, and that just is like an underlying structure that builds longevity.
Because you're not
hopefully
getting it,
these beers will last longer.
Because you're not getting it from the cypress, so you're adding it in the beginning. Interesting.
Correct.
Crazy.
He knows what he's doing
with oak.
But some older barrels have had more turns on it than.
Yes.
Yep. Are they developing more like character in terms of like? Are they returning more acidic character?
We
over time?
clean in between each time.
So you're starting back at ground zero then.
Well, we knock it back. They're never. They're sour tanks now. They're always going to make sour beer, but because we do that modified split fermentation, we get a lot of yeast load going in there. And if we were to keep just like the New Belgium method, where they just kind of keep topping up on a Solera thing, eventually that yeast mass will just keep building and building and building.
So you're draining it out completely.
Yeah. So the big thing is we want to get that giant, couple inches of yeast off the bottom.
There's stuff that's in there that you don't want to.
Yeah, Brett will consume autolysis to an extent.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we clean them in between each time, but like I said, this stuff is in the wood.
Yeah,
and you're maintaining the same pitching rates.
Yes,
batch after batch.
Yep, and we're tweaking every time too, and that's something we're learning as we go.
Right.
What year did the program start again?
We brewed the first one in 2012.
2012.
Yep.
Cool. So how many different vintage or bottling or run have you done of this program?
I think we've done 15 different versions. Yeah.
That's enough to dial it in. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. A big thing for us was transitioning from everything in the brewery to this new facility. Now we're trucking wort. In those first 3 batches we moved over, we've had to dump. So that was
what.
They didn't check out on the other end like a
no. I mean, so.
Well, you don't have to talk.
Yeah. No.
Next subject.
I was squirming. I don't know why.
Yeah.
No one likes dumping beer.
You really want to nail it out the gate. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Well, and we look at, especially, we're in the Midwest, in the North. We have to do a lot of education, and I don't know. You can't put out bad beer. We treat it as you got one shot.
Exactly. You get one shot to make a beer like this because it's not. It's not well understood to begin with.
This is weird.
I wish everybody knew that.
Yeah, totally.
Like Eminem had one shot.
You only get one
chance
shot.
to blow.
Yeah. But thank you for taking that seriously and not just being like, oh, it's craft. Each batch is different. You'll like it anyway.
You'll like it.
And also,
because
like,
you know me.
Re-educating us on what Berliner Weisse is in the sense of, like, here's the guys that survive, but it's not necessarily what it could have been or what it was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're using this bulk tanker truck that also hauls milk. There's a big butter plant into them. Okay. And you would think that the dairy industry has some pretty high hygienic standards. Oh, yeah. And we watched the truck getting cleaned, and we checked out other chemicals, and it looks good. And so the first truck that we get in, you open up the cap and you see these little white specks coming out of the tank.
Oh.
And it's like, we swab it with ATP, and it says 0, like it's all been fried. They like burn it up with like this super high like chlorine, whatever. But I think there's some shadows in the tank, and within like 3 days, that beer was just like horrible, rotten Parmesan cheese. Like,
God!
Down the drain. Second one, we told them about it, and they said, okay, we're going to modify the process.
Yeah, do a full loop, like drain the line, I guess.
Yeah. Same thing, like, no milk came out, but, like, it's not clean. So, like,
what do you do?
We've started, they clean it there, and then we get it at the brewery, and then we re-clean it now.
You re-clean it now, okay.
Okay.
What do they say, or what do you do? What recourse do you have, I guess? Do they credit you on that, or it's just kind of...
They're doing us a favor, so it's like you can't.
You need to stop asking people favors.
You're
adapting
on both sides. There's a bunch of cops with big tits waiting for that truck.
Totally. Yeah.
So it's cost of doing business, and it kind of is what it is.
Learning curve, yeah.
Okay.
So we chalk it up to that.
For
But
both
now we've got it. We re-sanitize it once it gets to the brewery.
But you're paying for their learning curve. Yeah. But they're doing you a favor. Okay.
Yeah. So,
what about the Cypress fermenter? Did you do anything extra to make sure that whatever made it Parmesan-y didn't happen in the next step?
Mama pasta.
Yeah. So we'll drain it, and then we'll put in a store. We'll run that winery sanitation thing, and then we'll fill it with a storage solution. We'll let that sit for a couple months.
Okay.
And then it at least penetrates into the wood.
To do a reset on that one. Okay.
Let's drink this next one.
Yes.
So that last one was very golden.
Yep.
This one is not. It's very berry. Yeah.
Yep.
It's got a really nice jammy aroma.
Yeah, so kind of the tradition in Berliner Weisse that we talked about of adding the sweet syrup, we kind of made that, took that tradition, modified it with the lambic of fermenting on fruit. So we'll take a base beer, this base aged for 2 years in one of our Cypress tanks.
God damn.
Moved it back into stainless. We do all of our fruited beers on stainless. In horizontal tanks, we want a lot of surface area. And aged in blackberries for 3 months.
4,800 pounds of blackberries, according to the tag.
For 8 more months?
3 months.
3 months, okay.
Yep. Well, this says 4, so I call bullshit. Okay. Now I call into question everything Jace has said now, because he doesn't...
4 months, I'm sorry.
This is the best Pilsner I've ever had.
Yeah, I fucking love stouts. Stouts are great.
So 3.9%. Super dry. Like I said, it aged a long time.
God.
Looking back, I would have probably shortened that a little bit to leave a little residual body.
Shorten which? The 2 years?
The 2 years.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Doc, put your nose in here, dude. Give me some flavor or some aroma descriptors. Oh, well, you took your nose spray. You should be good at this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, get the douche.
Yeah,
because
definitely just heavy jam, heavy berries. It's like almost Concord grapes. Almost. It's got that Welch's jelly.
But in a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because there's still there's tannin on the end. There's still body at the end. It's not just blah.
The smell is a lot sweeter than what you're going to get in the flavor. It comes off really tart, not super tart, but just the sweetness isn't there to back up the smell.
Yep, and again, it's maybe 0.8 total acidity. Again, keeping our acid profile very much in check and in balance. And we do that with hopping rates, just keeping that, knowing how our bacteria strains and keeping the acidity in check.
I mean, it almost smells like there's an oak character to it, but I don't think it's the oak. I think it's the blackberries. Yeah, because they kind of have, like, depending on the size, they have tannins.
A lot of tannins.
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder if it's just, I don't know, the extended aging and the blackberry tannins being on there for so long. I wonder if it just kind of the sweetness, is tricking my brain into thinking it's oak sweetness, but it's not. I think it's
the
vegetal
tannins are
sweetness.
tricking your brain. That you're getting tannins, you're equating to oak.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And and that adds to that tartness in the mouthfeel, that puckering.
Yeah.
This seems just as tart as the one that you said was 0.5 total acidity. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it's produced.
Yep,
it's
a little more.
Yeah.
It seems the
tannins seem to make it show up better.
Do you macerate the blackberries?
Or we use puree. There's
puree,
not a lot of fruit grown in Minnesota, unfortunately. So we have to look elsewhere, especially in the wintertime.
Okay.
So we use Oregon fruit products.
Okay.
It's awesome stuff.
That's great.
Yep. We found an elderberry source in Minnesota, so we're messing around with that. And
nice.
there's some small, like raspberries and blueberries, but it's just the volume that we need is tricky.
Right. Right.
When you're doing 144 barrels at a time.
Yeah.
This is a really nice beer.
Big fucking batches.
And I love that it's under 4%.
I know. Thank you, dude. I mean, tart beers under 4%, under 5%, for God's sake. I'm all about.
Yeah, I mean, you can taste the malt.
Yeah,
it's you can have an under 4% beer and still have malt flavor. It's not just water.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It smells
This
great.
is great.
Too. God damn. Talk about cooking with beer, dude.
Oh yeah, this is where's my blackberry pie?
Right.
So you brought up that the cooking with beer was at which magazine?
The craftbeer.com.
Yeah. They have it was a while back. It was a recipe. It was like a raspberry lambic wings.
Jesus, really?
And it
that sounds great.
Essentially, you want to boil down a bottle of Lindemans, the which is super back sweetened.
Sure, of course,
right, yeah. And you make this Asian sauce stuff that you put in the way. Oh,
okay,
it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
God, my wife makes every once for Christmas. They do a pie contest and do a tart cherry pie. Mm-hmm. But she'll take a lambic, maybe a Dre Fontaine, but I don't know, some not like a Lindemans, right? But an actual sour cherry beer, and put that in there instead of a water or whatever to make this, and it's just so good. Oh, yeah. But it doesn't taste like a beer anymore because those beers are super tart, super tangy, super sour. This is definitely not. Yeah. It can taste. It tastes like beer.
Are you guys doing just every beer as a one-off through the Star Keller, or do you have core lineups that are available?
So far, we've done all one-offs. We want to try and eventually come up with a core lineup of beers, but they say the hardest beer to brew is a light, low alcohol beer. Well, make a light, low alcohol sour beer, and it's really hard to reproduce.
Right. Yeah.
We've failed 4 times on trying to reproduce or Star of the North, but I think we finally might have it. Replicating it. So
okay,
what are the differences?
Part of it was we were brewing those first ones, bringing it over to the Star Keller and dumping those batches. So
okay, it was dairy tank
with that split fermentation. We have 20% now of the wort that doesn't ferment but we're holding it at 86 degrees Fahrenheit for a week. So you just have bacteria. Bacteria doesn't really ferment anything. So even the smallest amount of contamination is going to ferment now.
Oh, okay. So because you just have a propagator there. And so whatever's in there is going to grow.
We're pitching bacteria in there, and like I said, it's a really slow bacteria strain on top of that. So you kind of have all this, sweet wort, really warm.
Right.
You've created a giant problem.
Yeah.
And then the end of the problem is great, but you have to work through the problem each time, which sounds like it changes on you. From time
modifying
to time.
Our process.
Yeah.
We got a steamer now that really helped. I think we were getting the spore formation. The tank would check out clean, but you have spores in the air that after a couple days, those then start to grow.
Oh, okay.
Because now we have this sour facility with all kinds of wild bugs in the air.
Sure.
I don't know. That's our theory anyway.
Sounds great to me.
The steamer seems to have helped take care of that problem.
Hey.
I've heard of ozone. Have you considered ozone?
Yeah.
We just start with the steamer.
Steamer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We got ammonia. We got enough things that keep us
Plenty of ways to die there.
If we can knock out a human, we can get some bacteria.
Yeah. We actually blow shit up now. It's the easiest solution. And but someone has to be in the room when it blows up.
Yeah.
That's how it worked the best.
Believe it or not, Cypress tanks sanitize with fire.
Who would have known?
Yeah.
We light the pitch on fire and throw it in there. What's this third beer?
Yeah, this is one we have not released yet. I wanted to bring it for the show.
Hold on a second. Just everyone smell this one real fast.
Was this one at NHC?
BN exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
God. It smells like just you take a rose petal and you just kind of smash it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like a fresh rose petal, or smells like a fresh. What is this?
This is Electric Empress. This will be probably coming out September-ish, we're thinking. This is aged on plums.
Plums?
Yep. So we took a base that was aged just under a year in one of our Cypress tanks, moved it onto a lot of plums.
6,600 pounds of plums for 5 months.
Yep. And usually we don't go that long on fruit, but it just seemed like the residual yeasts were a lot less than we're normally in, so it took that much longer for it to ferment. But
why do I smell roses?
It's roses.
Yeah, it's very floral,
right?
Kind of a medicinal smell, like in a good way, like a mint kind of. Yeah, but roses are kind of really come through.
I see what you mean. Like on the back, like cleans itself up, but like it kind of just comes clear at the end, like crisp.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like there's a theme in most of these beers. There's the supporting like ester and phenol content, and I say that not like it's like intense esters and phenols, but enough to make it complex and really interesting.
I'll be honest; these are unlike any American Berliner Weisses I've had. They're very, very unique. Because you taste the malt, like Warren was saying. The fruit flavors that you're getting are very different. They're very different.
They finish clean.
Yeah.
Even in the beers that aren't fruited.
Even in the beers that aren't fruited. Right, right. You get the pear, which doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, literally every step of the process, we're doing something different because we're trying to achieve different results. And going back to that, it's all the little things that make the difference. And I think that's, I don't know. That's what we try and strive for.
And this color is crazy. I mean, it's fucking, fucking liquid cotton candy, dude.
Looks like a rose petal.
It does. Yeah, it's a pink rose petal.
And maybe
color.
That's where I'm getting a lot of the rose. But even tasting it, it's perfumey.
It smells like a rose petal.
It does. And I've never had a beer like this. That the aroma carries through. I guess when you talk and you breathe out. You get that sensation, you get the flavor, but the aroma, I can smell my own breath, I guess. And it's like coming back, and it's the aroma, and it's that solid of flavors that kind of continue through the beer that I've never experienced before in a beer.
Cool. So are you, at this point, since it sounded like there's not a lot of the original Berliner Weisse breweries still around making beer, are you just making it up now, or are you talking? Are you talking to people that like historians, or like how are you going about?
Like I said,
tweaking the little things.
My teacher at the VLB, Kurt Marshall, has done a lot of research on historical production methods, and he's got his own kind of ways that he does it. And we've been in contact a lot, and just trying to do my own research as well. Yeah. There was a professor that did a lot of research in the 80s. It's all in German, but you got to translate it. But he researched a lot of the old historical methods, and their big thing is that they isolated all these Brett strains out of the beers, and his conclusion was that Brettanomyces was an absolute must for the traditional Berliner Weisse.
Okay, and long aging, so it's not quick like.
Yeah,
a lot of American breweries try to make it
slow. Yeah,
3-week turnaround. There you go.
Yeah,
Berliner Weisse.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on 3-week Berliner Weisse?
So the modern interpretation of like what Brett strain or how the Brett dosing is approached. Like, what's your opinion on that versus like what you can understand historically?
It's there, but it's restrained.
Yep.
You know, they talked about this like wine-like bouquet or like cider-like bouquet. That was always written about in the old. So
aromatics essentially is one component.
And I think our Bretts, you know, I mean, these all have Brett, 2 different Brett strains in them.
And it's not like a Lambicus type of Brett.
Like,
not like a really intense type of Brett.
It's a very subtle Brett.
Yeah, and that's
totally.
exactly
More
where that
fruity.
ester and phenol thing comes in, like from the fruitiness, right? That's Brett driven.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool, because it's not like what I think a lot of modern homebrewers and craft brewers would interpret as like a big Brett character.
Yeah.
They expect a lot more funk. Like this is just more of like interesting, clean fruit. Pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. Yes, they're not super funky. To me, it feels more traditional.
But it's complex,
yes, right? Which a lot of modern beers don't have in any sort of capacity. For anything you try to like rush out, especially with this, there's a lot of subtleties to it. You don't have time to get that stuff.
Well, yeah, you think of Brett as like a wild yeast. It's going to kick out like a ton of kind of difficult esters and phenols, like stuff that's a little more offensive to you. Like these are really approachable.
Yeah.
Really approachable and interesting and complex and tasty.
Yeah, right.
And everything's bottle conditioned. That was another major component of Berliner Weisse, is that these beers were bottle conditioned, and they were meant to more or less be drunk fresh. But people that were into this style knew that if you aged them for a long time, that they would develop more and more of that fruity kind of aroma profile.
Bev, have you had any of these? You should have this plum one. I think you would really like it.
Are the beers allowed back at the brewery once they've been inoculated with stuff? It's a one-way trip, and I don't ever want to see you again.
The most modern piece of equipment is like a decontamination unit for Jake before he visits. All right, you're clean. Come
So
on in.
when we started this thing, all right, so we have this abandoned cellar, so that's for aging, but we still got to bottle it.
Right.
And we built this mobile bottling trailer that we would back up to the window, and we'd hose it in there. And we stuffed 6 guys into this like short semi-trailer with a pallet of glass, a sink with like the 2-head like bottle sprayer from more beer, a 6-head gravity filler, a corker cager, and then a guy like hand labeling them, and then like someone putting up boxes and then stack them on a pallet. It was like this like whole little U strain with 6 people, and
because this isn't like a standard 750, like this is like a specialized bottle too. Like it takes, like,
and that was another like I saw a picture in one of an old article that had that kind of shape, and like I wanted to try and replicate that as much as possible.
Awesome. It's a cool shape.
Try and be as traditional again.
Did you have to hire all new employees to do this? Because everyone else was like, no, I'll stay doing what I've been doing.
Oh, here's the new kid.
I think they're not allowed back into the other brewery.
Yeah, it was surprisingly like people have really embraced it.
Cool.
Our number one draft account is the local bar. Our number one sour account.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A rural community with 13,000 people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that that would happen? Like you said, a rural community, 13,000 people, built on, grain belt.
Yeah.
And, the other light lagers that you have this would appeal to their palates.
Yeah, I mean, what's really cool about New Ulm, and the reason we're still in business is because of that community.
Mm-hmm.
They've supported us through thick and thin, and the B&L bar, which if you come down, we're definitely going to go there.
Yes. Fuck, I'm going.
He was all about it. He's like, yes, absolutely,
Okay.
and we get a lot of beer tourism. And one of the reasons Minnesota laws changed now where breweries can have tap rooms.
Right.
And the reason we did not open our own tap room is because of that, because of our community support.
Wow.
We didn't want to compete with the people that have supported us.
That's really cool, dude.
And
That's
so when
really cool.
we did open the Star Killer, we're like,
Yeah.
all right, this is going to be a sour only tap room. So our tap room now is sour only.
Okay.
And we talked to the bars, all of them, like, hey, this is what we're thinking. They're just like, go for it.
They
It's
were
like,
cool with it.
So you have their blessing for the one Shell's tasting.
This is not like what everyone's going to drink on a daily basis.
Right.
This is going to be a tourist driven thing, and we're bringing people to the community. So, hey, have some couple sour beers and then go downtown.
Yeah, they're going to stop both places.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it, man. That's really cool. I think that's what a local brewery should be.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the small town mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, we all got to work together.
Of the 130,000 barrels, 30,000 leave New Ulm. Is that what you're saying?
You could do that math. Just hooked up to an IV.
Right, yeah.
Hey, well, you just moved in. Welcome. Here's 10 cases of beer.
Your fridge is full.
Yeah. It's already stocked for you, and we'll be back next week. No food. There's no market.
Yeah, there's no room. No room for food.
Yeah, you're just drinking all
Drink it
day.
all, you won't get any more.
Yeah.
Fantastic beers.
And the
man.
head
Yeah.
retention and all these beers have been great. Mission accomplished.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then wanted to try and take you across a wide spectrum and
you did it.
Hopefully learn some things along the way.
That's for sure.
A ton of
man.
balance in all the beers, like
Thank you.
super enjoyable, and you could pair them with so many different foods, and it's very well done.
Cool. I appreciate that.
Speaking of enjoyable, Nate.
Time for the live
New doesn't
read.
have to hurt.
Yes. This is the New Doesn't Have to Hurt segment. Nate, Adam and Eve is determined to help you spice things up in the bedroom. Now,
Really?
Nicole's been emailing in. She's like, please, will you read Adam and Eve when Nate's on? And I go, yes, I'll do it. It's fine.
Right. There's no longer hot tea allowed in Nate's bedroom.
That's right.
That's the one
we haven't
thing.
even talked about that yet. So Nicole
NHC
spilled.
injury, yeah. Very unfortunate.
And she went to the emergency room.
She did.
And I remember walking back to the conference, and I saw an ambulance, and I saw Gary Glass standing outside of the ambulance. I'm like, wow, someone fucked up. And it was probably...
You're thinking maybe an alcohol-related injury.
That's exactly what I thought.
No, instead it was like the thing you're supposed to drink to feel healthy.
Yeah. Tea.
Tea.
What happened? She just got overly excited about flavor contributions and beers, and
I think she just wanted to... It was really cold in that conference room. She just wanted something warm to drink.
she wanted to warm up. No,
and
I mean,
sure enough, it just accidentally got spilled. And
so she spilled tea on her lap.
Yeah. And
went to the ER.
ER.
Man. Wow.
Ambulance, all that stuff. Yeah.
Was
But
that bad?
when you're in the ER and you're in the ambulance and they have to take care of a burn, like it's extremely painful. So they gave her the right drugs to deal with it.
Yes.
We were there. No emergency room visit is short. right?
No.
So we were there a good 8 hours or so, which is pretty tedious. But, it's what's got to be done, no problem, right?
Yeah.
When we were done with it all, Nicole was like, I feel like I've been here about half an hour, no problem. They give you the right Dilaudid, give you the right IV drugs to get through it. But
did you get the right drugs to deal with it?
Yeah, they should have given you
There's always beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But she's good now. She's okay.
She's good now.
Because we did see her on club night. I think it was Friday night.
Yeah.
And she was limping, but she was high as a motherfucker.
I was trying to find a wheelchair for her originally. She was like, no, I think I can walk this. Let's just go through the Skyways downtown Minneapolis. You go through the Skyways to get there. I don't want to walk down the street. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Take our time, go over there. And she was able to walk through and not drink much beer because she was on all the opiates that they give you when you're in the emergency room, essentially.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that sucked. It wasn't something that she'd planned on, obviously, and not a way to enjoy the conference. We kind of missed a good chunk of the conference because of that. But there's nothing else you could do at that point. It's just it's just a mishap. It was really unfortunate. But yeah, she's recovered from it now. Everything's okay.
Glad to hear that.
Thank you for asking.
Good to hear.
She's a great gal.
Cheers.
Well, on that note, Adam and Eve is determined to help you spice things up in the bedroom, Nate, and they're backing up that promise like a big old ass. Check this out. Go to adamandeve.com and I just made that. They don't have that in the copy.
That's called ad lib.
Thank you.
If you need your lap heated up
call Adam
in a not ER way.
Pitch into our demographic.
Right.
I like
First
that.
of all, turn Warren's microphone off.
Courtesy of.
You might be going to the ER, but not for burns.
Not for burns.
Go to adamandeve.com. Maybe friction burns. But Adam and Eve has that. Adam and Eve has that solved.
It'd be for impalement.
Go to adamandeve.com and you'll get 50% off almost any item when you enter offer code BNARMY at checkout. But now, back by popular demand and for a limited time only, you also get a free Big O kit. Adam and Eve's Big O kit includes their exclusive Climax gel. Was Nicole's O pretty big when she's like,
No, there's this process they call debriding the burn. Speaking of something mildly interesting terminology-wise. Anyways,
yes, tell me about
They
this.
have to take the dead skin off.
They gotta peel it.
They got to peel. You got to get that. It's full of bacteria. It's full of stuff that's just going to not be good. So,
debride.
Some of the loudest noises from Nicole I've ever heard.
Is that why it's called debriding? Because it's super.
Essentially like scraping the dead skin off. So if you do it from a motorcycle accident, they have to get the road rash off there. So it's even more brutal.
Right. And get the gravel out. And
Exactly.
All the dirt.
So in this sense, it was just hot water. So it was okay. But not fun in any sense. Like you have to get that layer.
Why don't they give you drugs before doing that?
That's
what they did anyways, but it was still extreme.
They can't stop her
When
heart.
I worked for the eye doctor, people would come in with shards of metal. That would, like welders. Same thing. Got to debride the cornea.
Ooh.
It was horrendous.
Debride or debride?
We called it debriding.
Debriding.
It was called a debridement.
Because I'm hearing debride, and then I think of in the old ages brides were virgins, and that was the pain. So that's what I'm thinking because of the Adam and Eve read.
I thought that was more appropriate for the Adam and Eve read.
That's what I thought too. I don't like Bev's version. I like your version better.
Sorry.
Breeding also happens.
Ad-libbing once again.
But debreeding sounds like murder.
We're continuing with the ad-libbing.
I'm guilty of 5 counts of debreeding.
I unbred them.
Yeah, I did.
You've been debreeding a long time.
That's true. Adam and Eve's Big O kit includes their exclusive Climax gel and a mini vibrator, which always makes me laugh. So now you've got a new way to get her off, Warren. There you go.
About damn time.
I know, right? I'm tired of punching. What girl wouldn't love that? You also get your entire order sent to you for free. So hurry up, take advantage of this limited time offer. You can choose a new adult toy, a naughty movie, or almost anything else. When you choose that one item at 50% off, you'll get free shipping plus the Big O kit, which includes the Climax gel. We're getting very clinical right now. And the mini vibrator. You won't find this deal anywhere else, Jace. Anywhere else. You won't do it. It won't be in New Ulm, that's for sure. Just use offer code BNARMY at checkout. That's BNARMY, BNARMY at adamandeve.com. Jace, thank you very much, dude. I appreciate
Thank you.
You coming out here, number one, it shows a great level of respect for this show, which everybody should have.
Right. Tell your friends.
Yeah, please to always. You know what, Bev? From now on, it's in guest only. If you don't fucking have respect for the Brewing Network, you can't be online. We're not going to call you. It's in studio only.
Got to fly 5 hours to get out here and show up.
Well, it's been fun, folks. See you later.
Talk to Jace. That's what we're going to say. We're going to refer everybody to Jace.
Okay.
Okay? All right. I'm just looking.
It sounds like it'll happen.
It sounds like it'll happen.
Yeah. I'll get right on that.
August Schell, man. Come on, dude. How do you get better than this?
It's the first thing I look for when I'm back in Minnesota.
I want to go. We need to go. We need to do this brewery tour. We need to go out there.
I got a story. I got a last minute.
Tell me.
Last 30-second story about getting a 6-pack of Grain Belt way back before September 11th. Like when you used to be able to bring a 6-pack of beer in the airplane.
Yeah.
I almost forgot it at the security gate, and the security check-in person that came running, hey, you almost forgot your beer.
Yeah,
like, handing it to me as I was like about to board the plane. It's pretty rad.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, like the beer you can't find back in California, had to bring it back from Minnesota. You know?
We did a story last week about I don't know. I'm sure you saw it online. The Australian guy who checked one can of export lager.
What happened?
He was like flying from Perth to fucking wherever the fuck Australians fly to. Nothing. They tagged it, that big long extra tag. They wrapped it around the can. It had this big fucking tail on it, and it survived. And there's like pictures of the thing going just like
pack of luggage.
Just like on its own though. I think they put it out first, just because
it's like rotating
they knew
around
it was
real
going to happen,
slowly.
and then put all the packages on it. Like that's pretty cool. Okay, Jace, if you want to hang out for beer news, we're just going to chat about the Flying Dog Johns real fast. Nothing super crazy.
Right now, or are we taking a break?
No, that's it. We've taken all of our breaks.
Oh, wow.
Sure? Is there one more?
No, that was it, dude.
Huh. Bevo better have the Twitter game ready.
I know I got to pee also. I knew it was going to be a big, a long show.
Sorry
I knew
for
that.
rambling.
It depends.
But, I was prepared. I got to pee, but, what are you going to do, right?
Just pee right now?
Just pee. Just
We'll be
pee.
on the same pace.
No.
What about beer news?
Let's do beer news. What do you think of that? Nobody.
Okay.
Do it.
Thanks, nobody, for bringing us beer news. Here we go. This is a big thing. If you're on Facebook at all, you've seen this before. But Flying Dog, we've had them on the show before. They were in Denver. They're back east somewhere. I don't know where they are. They're Maryland. Sorry. Known for its staunch support of freedom of expression, confirmed that it terminated its 26-year relationship with the Brewers Association on June 1st. Apparently, they had prepaid for the entire year, so they're paid out through 2018, but they canceled their membership.
Oh.
Which,
we don't want it.
Whatever. That's a minor technical.
I guess that's a lot of cash.
Well, but
that's a lot of cash to write off.
Paid it.
I know, but that's stupid to me. But the association's new marketing and advertising code, which Flying Dog CEO Jim Caruso calls a, quote, blatant attempt to bully and intimidate craft brewers into self-censorship, prompted the decision. Here's the statement. I want to read the statement. Flying Dog, the 32nd largest craft brewery in the country, terminated its membership in the Brewer Association. Freedom of expression and free enterprise are not only what created our vibrant and robust craft beer industry, they are also core principles for Flying Dog. It seems the BA does not share those values and wants to eliminate from the market any beer with labels they find disagreeable. The BA's new marketing and advertising code is nothing more than a blatant attempt to bully and intimidate craft brewers into self-censorship and to only create labels that are acceptable to the management and directors of the BA. By contrast, Flying Dog believes that consumers are intelligent enough to decide for themselves what choices are right for them, what books to read, movies to watch, music to listen to, or beers to consume, and whether or not they like the labeling. BA President Bob Pease's assurance to Flying Dog that the BA has no issue with any Flying Dog brand entirely misses the point. In a 6-page letter to Pease, Flying Dog made its position clear. On principle, Flying Dog will never contribute to, support, or in any way sanction any organization that is so adverse to freedom of expression that it actively engages in any form of censorship. And with that letter, Flying Dog ended its 26-year relationship with the BA. Now, a lot of people on Facebook are quick to call into play like censorship and freedom of expression and the First Amendment, and I don't know. I just don't think any of this bullshit applies. I find it interesting that so basically what the marketing and advertising code is this: if you have a label that's offensive to the Brewing Association, the Brewers Association, they find offensive, you can't use their trademarks in your advertising. So if you win a medal at GABF for a beer called Suck My Own Dick Pale Ale, which would be a great beer name, by the way.
You sound like you'd be good at it.
I am. I'm very tall. I'm missing a rib.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and Marilyn Manson. And you can't. And if you win a gold, you can't use that gold medal in your marketing.
Right. And it won't be. The name won't be read.
The name won't be read
at the award ceremony.
That's it.
Right.
If Flying Dog had actually been called out, I think it would be a more interesting thing for them to raise. It's almost like they're saying somebody's going to be called out, so we're going to do it first. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
right?
I do.
We want to be relevant in this discussion, so we're going to bring it up now.
Well, I could
instead of actually winning an award and having BA say no way.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that side of it's sort of weird, but I mean, eventually this idea would come up in one way or another. Like the BA is essentially inserting themselves in a discussion that's going to get political at some point. Not necessarily because of Flying Dog, though.
They were expecting Raging Bitch to win this year, and so that's what they were worried
exactly.
about. And so that's what they were worried about.
Okay. Oh, so they didn't want to enter it.
Flying Dog or a BA?
Flying Dog.
Right.
Because then if it won, they're worried about the BA then saying, hey, you can't actually tell anybody that it won an award.
Fair point, Warren. Maybe they didn't want to spend the money to even enter it in the first place. Then.
Well, but then Flying Dog doesn't have to enter that beer in the GABF.
Then that's why. Maybe that's why.
But
I'm
it's
saying,
still
why are we being?
They're censored because then we can't enter the beer just because of what it's called. Yes, that's fine. It's the BA's trademark. You could make up some award ceremony. You could make up some award, and be like, "Hey, Flying Dog won Flying Dog's Flying Bitch Award."
Yeah. Eat your own ass, fucking brewing company, Pale Ale, award-winning
It's an
brand.
association. He in his letter, he makes the claim that it's the board of directors who are making the decision. I would say that the membership in total would agree with the board's position on it.
Sure, 99.9% of the people don't want lewd and explicit names.
Right. So it's not the Flying Dog against the board. It's against the Brewers Association as a membership, I think.
I think that if somebody had that shitty of a name, if it won and got publicity this way, the market would shut it down on its own. I don't know that it's the BA's responsibility to do that.
Well, I think if anything, the local labeling laws are probably going to stop stuff from even getting to that level.
The TTB will stop it.
Will.
Well, there is literally the clusterfuck that the TTB granted the term clusterfuck to a beer name.
Okay,
that is now a legally represented, like a legally allowed name, clusterfuck.
Okay, what's offensive about that?
It says the word "fuck" in it.
Warren doesn't seem offended.
I'm not offended either.
Well, no.
I'm just kidding.
Is it, but that's
is it spelled properly?
Yeah,
or that's how they got around it.
Cluster fuck. No, they didn't get around shit. The TTB fucked up because there's a cluster fuck. They have such a backlog of shit going on that
somebody is like, oh, just rubber stamp it, whatever.
They probably just missed it. Cluster, great, bam,
yeah.
Done. So, and it's a very extreme example.
Well, no,
I understand
but
that,
even still, if the local market wherever that beer is made is fine with it being called that, why is it the BA's decision to then be like, no, you cannot, or you should not be able to have that beer and market that?
The BA's thinking about the overall impression of craft, right?
Right.
They're concerned about quality of craft beer. They're concerned about the imagery and the naming.
That's their job.
That's their job. That's their association. They're looking out for the big picture. Make sure things are going in the right direction.
They're a lobbying organization. They are literally in their statement. I mean, they say beer is meant to be enjoyed responsibly. Beer marketing should be representative of the values, ideals, and integrity of a diverse culture and free of any derogatory or discriminatory messages or imagery. This document is intended to guide BA membership marketing efforts to uphold the industry's tradition of responsible corporate citizenship
They never had a policy like this before. Is
They're
this
okay.
new?
No, I think it's brand new. And
It is new this year.
So the line that they say is beer advertising and marketing materials should not, and then there's A, B, C, D. Here's I. Contain sexually explicit, lewd, or demeaning brand names, language, text, graphics, photos, video. First of all, if your name contains video, you're a fucking marketing genius.
Yeah.
Or other images that reasonable adult consumers would find inappropriate for consumer products offered to the public.
Well, we're fine with a diverse culture as long as, just as for your example, fuck cannot be on the label.
Yeah.
So that culture is not acceptable?
What culture is that, though? The fuck culture?
Clusterfuck culture.
The clusterfuck culture. It's not very organized.
You laughed at that. You're not a reasonable adult, Jason.
No one ever accused me of being reasonable, that's for sure.
Those are more the nuances. We're really talking about the names and imagery associated with beer. Right.
Sure, there are some. I've seen some pretty offensive graphics.
Yes.
On beer labels.
Very demeaning to women.
Sure, yeah, but to the BA's credit, they said we don't have any issues with any of your beers, which includes raging bitch,
right,
which could be derogatory.
Or I think they said they're not targeting any of their brands because I think Flying Dogs feels very targeted. And to me, I think there's some guilt associated with that too, because they understand raging bitch with this drawing of a dog with a big swollen vagina. Like, how is that?
Is that what's on the label? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's weird, and I think it's only weird because they're making it weird, and I think it's only an issue because Flying Dog is making it an issue. Yeah. I don't think the people who like Flying Dog, which I don't know who they are, but they're out there. Sure,
there are some.
Yes, will continue to buy their product, and that's fine. And I see what they're saying. The market will decide. The market will let everything shake out. But in my opinion, the Brewers Association, they're not the market. They don't have to determine. It's not a free speech thing. It's not a censorship issue. They're not saying you need to change your labels. They're just saying you can't use our trademark if we don't like what you guys are marketing. Because they want to protect their brand, too. The BA is a brand.
Yeah,
GABF
it's their
is a
property.
brand.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think they care to change Flying Dog. They just want to make sure the rest of everybody's aware that you need to be sensitive to some stuff.
Sure.
That way everything's going to be turn out great.
In my opinion, a rising tide. Like I think we don't need to have raging bitch as a fucking name with a dog's vagina on it.
You might have an audience and all that. That's great. And
and throughout Facebook, I've seen women reply, "I love this beer. I buy it all the time."
They make great beer.
And sure that
but now
they make beer.
but not, so if there clearly are people that are okay with that, are you okay with the BA now saying no? That's not an acceptable name.
It's not acceptable to them.
Well, but then also,
what the BA is saying is only if you want to use our stuff.
I'm okay with their
your stuff. That's fine. What people may misinterpret this discussion as, the BA is not saying you can never use that ever. They're not saying that. They're just saying you can't use it with our stuff.
Yeah.
That's the distinction.
And people say it's a freedom of speech. Well, no, you can say...
Yeah, you can still call the beer that, and if the TGB says it's cool, then whatever.
Sure. I mean, the only thing you can't do is say, hey, I want a GABF. That's all.
That's right.
You can still sell it. It's like if I started saying, hey, using Disney in my fucking marketing or whatever. I can't do that. But if they won't let me, that's not a freedom of speech issue. That's protecting their brand, their trademark.
I kind of figure like the people are going to say like, oh, I want to buy offensive beer with offensive beer name. That's funny to me. They're probably not going to care that it won an award.
I agree.
Probably not.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a different segment.
And to further that analogy, essentially what bike or what's this brew?
Flying Dog.
For some reason I say bike dog. I'm like, I know that's not right.
Moron. Yeah. Pale ale.
You would stop.
TM.
You would stop being a annual pass holder because essentially all they're doing, which is basically a non-issue. It's like, well, okay, if you're not going to let me use your brand, I'm not going to keep paying you to be a part of your club.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I got to think about that.
Silence on the BN.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm okay with it.
How are you still a pass holder if Disneyland won't let you use the brand the way you want it to?
How am I a pass holder? Okay, if Disneyland didn't want me to use their brand, well, first of all, aside from your weird fallacies of like, just because you're a pass holder doesn't mean you can use the brand. Let's say I paid what is it, like $100,000 a year to use to be licensed, right? And I started making Mickey Mouse dildos.
Well, no, on some level you're supporting the company that's stifling your creativity.
But I'm reorganizing your hypothesis into like more of like a relatable situation. So let's say I made Minnie Mouse fleshlights. Let's just get weird on it.
Okay.
So I made Minnie Mouse fleshlights.
Look it right in the eye.
Yeah.
It's got the ears and everything on it.
It's got the ears and everything on it.
Grab them by the ears.
Can we not?
Grab them by the ears.
Did she talk dirty?
And that's what it's called. Grab them by the ears.
Yeah.
There's a couple of levels of marketing going on. Yeah. That's pretty good, Warren.
And then if Disney goes, well, you've already prepaid for your licensing, but you can't call it grab them by the ears. You can make the product, but if you call it grab them by the ears, you can't say Disney on
Disney endorsed product.
Right.
I would say, okay, that's fine. Because I'm still making money on the thing.
That's right. You're making a
But
compromise.
would you still pay the money
to license it? Yes. I would. Look, the analogy needs work. It's like 80% there.
Yeah, we left the tracks.
Yeah.
But I can certainly see where Flying Dog has the option of
they have the option.
Yeah,
That's
the association.
They're totally right.
Well, yeah, they want out. They're like, we're making it very clear we don't agree with this. I understand that.
I can see their side as well.
I get it. I just think they're being crybabies about it.
Yeah.
Because nothing has happened yet.
I think they're also increasing their brand awareness right now.
Exactly.
For sure. No, I think it's way more of a marketing ploy on their part than a actual like constitutional stance. I think calling the First Amendment into it and saying you're attacking my freedom of speech, I think they're being little fucking bitches about it.
I don't see why it's news.
It's only news in our world, yeah. But people on the internet
even in the beer community world.
If the TTB says they can still sell those beers with the names they have,
it's fine.
Then it's not First Amendment.
Right. The BA said we don't have any issues with your branding.
Yeah. But still they go, no.
Right.
We're going to just let, $10,000 go to waste. It's fine.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Fuck that. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I saw it. I thought it was weird. I thought we should definitely talk about it. But, they also have Pearl Necklace.
They have a beer called Pearl Necklace?
They have a beer called Pearl Necklace.
Oh, what? Now ZZ Top is not allowed?
Never. They're never
to be played in pop culture?
No.
Danielle still wouldn't know.
I don't know what that is. Okay. Well, I think, Warren, it's almost time for the Twitter game.
Great.
But I do want to tell you guys to go to beersmith.com. Go to beersmith.com. 21-day free trial of Beersmith. It's the best recipe formulation software around. You're going to get everything up to date. Brad works hard. All that kind of lovely stuff that you hear all the time. But just do it. Just stop listening to us and just do it. Go to beersmith.com. 21 days free. Your life will never be the same. Your brewing life will definitely never be the same.
It'll be more organized.
Right. Which you're probably
most
not used
likely
to.
Hit your numbers.
Because you're a fucking slob. Right?
You can still write question mark next to the 16 pounds at the end of the sheet. Though. When you don't know what it is, you can still do that. It's cool.
You don't have to label your hops.
Right.
Yeah.
You can change every hop name to question mark if you want.
You can still cross stuff out, put wheat there instead. Barley. It's cool.
Yeah, do whatever you want, man. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Beersmith.com. Now, Brad's a good dude, and I tell you what, he does bust his butt trying to keep that thing up to date. So do him a favor. Throw him a free download, man, and you won't regret it, and you'll end up buying the thing. I swear to God. I swear to God. Okay, Warren, are you ready for the Twitter game?
Yeah, I don't do anything. I like this. I think we should keep doing Twitter game this way.
Okay.
I don't.
Beverly, are you ready for Warren's Twitter game?
Sure, but I have a question.
Oh, shit.
What's the raise?
How do you spell Australia?
How do you spell brewing?
Shut up. No, am I supposed to say their real name or their Twitter name?
Whatever you want.
Or both.
Baby.
Don't ever call me baby again.
Baby.
Whatever floats your boat.
You're going to get punched now.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so
love.
let's just wrap this up.
Okay, wait, didn't
Use
you have
the Twitter name. It's easier.
Drunk of the week to call in?
Sure.
Call in.
If you're drunk, call.
All right.
But I'm not going to answer while I'm talking, so maybe wait till I'm done.
Wow.
The Twitter.
Fucking
What was the
prima
Twitter game again?
I wanted to know what Justin was going to forget to get done before the Hop Grenade opening party in Colorado this weekend.
He's going to forget to fire Beverly.
Right.
This place would burn to the ground. Brewlosophy says clean panties.
appropriate.
I don't want to spell brulosophy. I'm going to put panties.
Don't forget to do them loud.
Jeff Agnell says, invite JP, Beardy, Doc, Tasty, and Bevo to the opening. That actually said all of your names and Scott, but since Scott is there, I replaced it with my name because she ain't been invited.
That's probably true.
Neither is he, so it's fine.
Ian Wegner says, enjoy it.
Okay, yeah.
That's fine.
Scott Perriera. Not real.
Not real.
Not real.
No, I can't say that.
Name.
That's not how you say that.
No.
Who's Justin? I thought that was funny.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
Gimme Good Beer says to purchase extra undergarments for when he inevitably sharts right before the ribbon cutting, because there was that whole thing about him sharting.
Oh, he did shart a couple times last year.
Fine. Okay.
Max is
fine. Max is fine.
says,
there you go.
Justin forgot the copious amount of hand sanitizer needed for all the glad handling and baby kissing that's going to go down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
KCB says meet the local homebrew clubs.
Okay.
John Barnes says
that sounds like a real life thing. Like he's probably pissed about.
Yeah, he probably lives there.
Dear
I thought
Justin,
that.
I've sent you several. This is my 5th correspondence with you. We are a member of the fucking foam top ball sack lovers, and you have not given us the proper respect. You've been a homebrewing club for 49 years.
You can't just march into Fort Collins and act like you know what you're doing when you don't invite us.
Yeah, that was my friend Nate.
So I thought you might read 140 characters on Twitter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Their name is the best part.
By the way, fuck you.
Hashtag.
Can we get VIP tickets to the thing?
Suck a dick.
Yeah.
Ron Barnes says he forgot to show up. He was too busy handing out $2 bills at the strip club.
Okay. I'll write that one down.
Yeah, and the last one.
He wouldn't hand out $2. They'd be singles.
It's true. I have unfortunately been to a strip club with him. Paul Shanks says, order enough charcuterie to put him over the edge in the death pool. Oh, there are multiple layers. Number 1, order enough charcuterie to put him over the edge at the death pool. 2,
I'm already bored.
Tell Beardy to shut the F up. And 3, order a pale ale on tap to keep JP from crying.
Well, Justin's never told me to shut the F up. So I don't know what that means.
I just don't think it's necessary to use that word all the time.
Oh, my God.
All the time.
I mean, you got to save it and make it really worth something.
Like for marriage.
Right.
Yeah, I got to save that
like
for
virginity.
Right. Yeah, Beverly. That's right.
Why are you glaring at me?
I don't know. Because I like glaring at you.
It's a great dynamic going on here.
Yeah. Real weird.
All night, yeah.
Dude, I just looked out the window and some guy looks like John Palmer from like 25 years ago. He's like a younger, trimmer John Palmer.
You should go, how to brew! Dude, have him sign the book, dude.
Do you know how to brew?
Palmer, come on in, dude. What's going on?
And he walks like him, too, as he's walking away.
He's all fucking lumbering. Yeah. Hey, guys. Okay, so I have 3 on my list. Brulosophy, something about forget to order new panties or fresh panties.
Clean panties.
Clean panties. Which Justin does kind of wear dirty panties.
How do you know that?
I've camped with him before. Slept in the same RV several times.
Have you ever seen him change his underwear?
I've never seen him change
in fact,
his panties.
I have not.
Yeah, filthy.
I've never seen you change your underwear either.
Yeah. When do you think the last time I washed them was?
Gross.
Well, I also don't wear panties, so I've never changed my panties.
Oh, you should try it.
Thank you. Jeff says, invite us all. He's going to forget to invite everybody.
That was a
here.
good one.
And then Ron said he's busy handing out $2 bills at the strip club. Is there anything else that you guys want on there?
I was sort of a fan of Who's Justin.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Who
was
said that one, Beth?
Scott Perriera. Yeah.
Scott.
Perriera.
Okay. Thank you very much, Beverly. Okay, well, I think I'll start out the vote. Well, actually, Warren, you start out the voting. Which one would you like? The panties, forget about us all, $2, or Who's Justin?
Forget us all.
Okay. Jace, do you give a shit?
Forget us. Forget you guys.
Okay.
I'm not getting invited either, so.
All right.
Forget us all, for sure.
But you just...
Hey, who liked Who's Justin? Second. Anybody like Who's Justin?
Yeah, that was going to be number 2.
See?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't that
Okay.
absurd?
All right. No, you're right. Doc, what do you think?
I'm the one that doesn't give a shit.
Okay, and Nate.
Doc's probably going.
He's definitely
He's the one who got
There's no
invited.
invites coming out for
All
this
right,
one.
Jeff, you're the winner, dude. Congratulations.
Your prize is right along with our invites.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy it. You'll love it.
Yeah. If you were here, I would tell you to go to Drake's to get some pretty good East Bay beer. Go to Drake's dealership out there in Oakland, or you can go to the brewery there in San Leandro. I would tell you to go and just buy your own beers because we're too broke to buy you beers. But if you go out, it's a good reward. I'll tell you that, man. Right now, they had put on a good show last week too. Good time.
Yeah, John.
Oh, yeah, John's good.
Okay, are we done? We're done, right?
We did the Twitter game.
We did the Twitter game. We're done? We're done?
Done.
I'm done.
No, you were done 4 hours ago.
Stick a fork in him.
Yeah. All right, Jace from August Schell Brewing, thanks again, man, for coming in and drinking all the beers. I really appreciate it. Sure. And we're going to take you up on your offer to stay in the family estate for like 4 weeks.
Oh,
right?
can we do a sleepover?
Did he actually offer that?
Beverly, yes. If you tell him,
I mean, I'm sorry.
There you go.
It's called a con job.
Yeah.
What a con job is.
You know what? For the grand opening of the Fort Collins Hop Grenade, we're just going to go to August Schell.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay.
I'm all right with that.
Sounds good.
I guarantee you
it's the only
beer will be
invitation we're going to receive. So.
That's right. All right, everybody, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the Brewery Network. Thanks for supporting podcasting. Thanks for supporting everything that you guys support. You're all really great. I'm going to go get more beer.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great